Crossover.
Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com.
Mm-hmm.
Top of the morning, boys.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
You went with pants too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pants morning.
Yeah. I was kind of excited to wear pants.
I was too.
I was kind of excited to wear pants, get out the hoods again, stuff like that. But I won't be excited about it for long. Right now it's new. It's nice.
No. Someone asked me why I was going with the Marcus Satterfield look. So are we now at that point in time to go with a vest?
Kind of, yeah.
If you go with a vest, you are Marcus Satterfield? Until proven otherwise?
Yeah, you kind of do. Yeah, vest and a hood.
Yeah,
that's a Marcus Satterfield.
I needed the extra layer, but I didn't want to go full on like arms over the hoodie. So I thought, hey, vest.
I've been vest curious the last couple years. Should I get a vest?
Oh, you should get a vest.
You think I should?
You should get a vest.
All right, maybe I'll get a vest.
I can see you rocking a Creighton vest when you're doing Blue Jay Live.
Hey, I would love a Creighton vest.
Yeah,
I would love a Nebraska vest, a vest of any kind.
You could pull off a vest.
We're soliciting free clothes.
Yeah, because if you wear a vest right now, you're accused of looking like Marcus Satterfield.
Yeah.
And Connor said he's
what do you think about
he's
a vest?
toying with the idea of a vest. You wear vests.
So I've worn a vest with a turtleneck.
A vest with a turtleneck.
Yeah, it's a good look.
I have no.
Like
I can't
the
even
look
imagine.
that Nick has. That's a good look. With
I like the vest with the hood.
The hood?
Yeah.
Because it's not. See, that's why I don't think it's necessarily Marcus Satterfield looking.
Oh, vest with the.
But apparently, if you wear a vest right now, then you're Satterfield.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the turtleneck underneath, like the suit jacket?
The sport coat?
Yeah. Think about that. I don't think I can do it.
I think I need hair. I think I
Maybe.
could pull it off if I had hair.
Maybe.
But I don't have hair.
Yeah.
All right, so that's how we're starting our Monday of Indiana Week. You guys are soliciting for clothes.
Well, I'm just wondering what I should do. New fall fashion.
Well, yeah, I told Connor he'd look good in a Creighton vest during Blue Jay Live.
Yeah.
They hook you up though, right?
Yeah, I got some stuff.
Yeah.
I could get some more.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like 3 weeks away from my wardrobe is gonna
gear drop.
Gear.
I'll get the
Come
duffel.
on, Adidas.
I will get the duffel bag.
That is the best.
There'll be some shoes. There'll be some polos. There'll be some quarter zips.
Yep.
There'll be a hoodie.
Fly
That is
across the
awesome.
country
God.
several times.
That's why I miss Nebraska baseball so much. Gear drop day was the best day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loved it.
Send me some of that. Send me some of that.
Then they
stuff.
started throwing shoes in there too. I'm like, this is fantastic.
You gotta be geared up for all the occasions.
Yeah.
Hot,
Well, it's
cold.
well, you got to dress like the team. That's what I always thought was so funny. I'm like, come on. I don't really look like any of these guys, but
I would love to, though.
they allow us to dress like them.
Exactly.
We just don't get a uniform.
They got it, so might as well use it.
Did we do it? I already saw Connor and I had conversations about our weekend in the bathroom. Did you avoid the?
Oh,
we've reached that level.
Yeah.
How's your weekend?
Like there are certain people that work here that I don't know well enough. First of all, there's not a lot of males that work here anymore. You guys ever realize that?
No.
Like this is a male dominated.
You haven't
radio
realized
station.
that, or you think he's right, Josh?
I think he's right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there's just not like a lot of guys that work here.
It's cool.
We have an extremely deep bench of women that are very talented that work here, but they're not going to the bathroom in our side.
No.
By law.
So most of the people that I see, we've reached a level where we can talk in the bathroom. Like we can chop it up as fellas.
That's true.
Like some people that you don't know are very awkward and you don't know what to say.
Well,
Well,
you
you're
don't know if
standing
they're-
there both washing your hands.
You don't know if they're bathroom conversation people anyway.
So Connor and I already discussed the weekend. Did you do a good job this weekend of avoiding the apple orchard or the pumpkin patch?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm batting 1,000
Josh is like, I don't have time for
for
that.
my life.
I don't got time for that. I didn't pick any apples this weekend. Couldn't be
because
me.
we're smart. We have significant others that are smarter than we are.
Oh,
And they're like, just watch football.
don't get me wrong. I do feel a pull. I want to go. Maybe it's a during the week thing.
No, you don't want to go.
I want to go.
You don't want to go.
Yes, I do.
During the week?
Yeah, I want to
When
go.
there's less people, less traffic,
100%.
less hassle.
Yes.
Get in and get out.
Yeah, and you're
You feel
basically
your obligation of being a Midwesterner.
you're on a time limit.
You went to the apple
You know,
orchard
as
or
well.
the pumpkin patch?
The soonest that I could get there to the pumpkin patch would be, I don't know, but like best case scenario, like you go back and you pick up the family. Be like I could maybe get there by like 3:30, but then we got to be out of there by 6. Because we're on a very strict sleep nap schedule at the moment.
He takes a ticking time bomb with him wherever he goes.
100%. You just don't know when that thing's gonna boom.
Do you realize that you having an infant is such a home field advantage?
Uh-huh.
Like if she's sick, you're not coming into work. daycare calls.
Yep.
Nick is running into
No.
this.
Yeah.
You're like, I
No,
can't
that
make
goes-
it into work. I can't make that appointment.
Let me just say, I love working, and I have not missed a day of work yet, aside from the.
The 3 weeks. you were gone.
Yeah, aside from.
Which
I
is,
think you get a pass there.
which was 2 more weeks than I got in my previous employer.
Absolutely.
But I don't look forward to those days. First of all, because I don't want my kid to be sick. It
Yeah.
pains my heart.
It's not easy.
Is she walking yet?
No.
Oh. Crawling?
No.
Speaking?
She does some rolling, some light rolling.
Yeah.
Okay.
How's the neck strength?
Working
yeah.
on it.
Yeah, the
Working
neck
on it.
strength.
Getting after that tummy time.
Yep.
Like tummy time or hate tummy time?
She goes through bouts. Sometimes she's just not. Sometimes it's just not her day.
Mhm.
And,
She get
and
frustrated.
She just lays it down.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it. But
Don't fight the body.
yeah, usually
The body knows.
sometimes you got to force it a little bit. But it's we're getting there.
Okay.
We're getting there.
There are just so many things that you wonder when the hell or how the hell they ever going to learn this. And
I know.
All of a sudden it just clicks.
So
I know.
what do you think?
That is what I wonder.
What in the last week? What do you think she has discovered? Because you were telling the story that she likes curtains.
Yeah, she likes to lurk.
What did we discover this past week that you think is number one on her list that she'll never ever remember?
Pretty recently, she's discovered that her hands work.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's like kind of grabbing at stuff and hitting stuff. Like these are mine, and I can kind of do stuff with them.
Like, look at these meat hooks.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Do you have any early feeling if she's going to be a southpaw or righty?
No.
Like when you send her to play for Todd Peterson at Papillion La Vista, is she going to swing it from the left or the right side?
I don't know. Don't have a sense there yet.
She'll probably do both for a while.
Yeah,
I've noticed that's common.
When does it become clear?
I'll ask Vendetti.
I don't know. I still don't even know if it's clear right now because my kid's all over the map.
Did you see that Pat played for the Savannah
Yes, we were
Bananas?
talking about that earlier.
Talking about that.
What, that seems like a natural.
Absolutely.
With his skill set. Oh yeah,
100%. I wonder what
That's
kind
an
of
attraction.
I wonder what kind of stuff they did with him.
I bet he picked somebody off.
Maybe
Always did.
Maybe, yeah. But I saw that this weekend. I was like, oh my god, that's perfect. That's fantastic.
And a reminder once again, the banana ball is not coming anywhere near Omaha.
It's
you
not
consider Des Moines or Kansas City or Minneapolis.
As
near
God
Omaha.
intended.
I thought they I thought they were making a run at it here.
Werner Park was, Mecca was.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Came up.
We got shut out.
Yeah.
It would sell out.
It's crap.
Most certainly would.
Mecca wanted a huge kickback. I don't know if that's true or not. Just felt like something I should say.
Jeez,
So
blame it on Mecca.
what you're-
Mecca hater.
Hey, what you're implying is that of all the stops that the Bananas have made, including like Fenway Park to Marlins Park this past weekend, Omaha would be the only place where the Bananas would have to pay to come to.
That's right.
That's right. You don't play at this.
I
place.
feel Mecca would ask that. Yes.
What's in it for us?
Mecca hater.
Do you have a briefcase full of cash for us? Allegedly.
They'll find a way to make it profitable.
Sure.
Both sides. Both sides.
I don't know if you know, this is how we do things in Omaha. Omaha's a little bit different.
They are going to the K next year, yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool.
They're doing more major league parks. They're going to football stadiums.
Oh my God.
God, where are they going to be? Oh, they're going to be at
Stadiums?
Clemson.
Really?
Yeah,
This
and they've already marked out the field.
There you
Okay.
go.
It's like 312 down the line and left,
Memorial
and they're going to
Stadium.
have like a 50-foot net.
Memorial Stadium coming up.
Yep. Were they going to do softball?
Hey,
there?
hey.
I thought we were going to do softball there at
Yeah.
one point.
Yeah.
Did we shoot that down?
I don't know.
Well, now that Jordy Ball's back.
Yeah. Now, yeah.
We can
Back
we
and
can bring
healthy.
that back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on
I
now.
think that was discussed that they were going to do
Right.
softball was the next one.
Didn't Oklahoma originally want to do that? Yeah. When they, felt like they had a good thing going there. which they
Wild
did.
ideas out there.
It's Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, it is.
Why has it got to just be for football?
It doesn't. It's for football and Garth Brooks in volleyball.
And look what happened to him.
What happened to him, Josh?
Well, there's some allegations.
Yeah, Google some things.
What do you mean? What? Hey,
turn the break.
Crap. Really?
oh wait
Yeah.
a minute. You don't know?
He was performing.
No, he doesn't follow.
He was
doesn't know
performing
anything.
the night that
If
his,
it's not
his
sports
allegations
news,
came
he
out.
doesn't know.
So when I see
man.
he's in a gambling commercial, NFL gambling commercial.
Oh yeah.
Does
Yesterday,
this mean Friends in Low Places is banned?
Well, where do you think that you found out those low places from?
innocent until proven
Wow.
guilty.
Bro, no, we
He might
cancel
be
things
speaking-
willy-nilly.
No, not with Garth.
Maybe don't.
Not with Garth.
Maybe don't dox your victim.
Is that what I see? I just saw the headline for the first time. I'm just seeing this now. For the
I mean,
first
she
time.
might be in it for something else, but I just want to hear all the facts come out.
Mm-hmm.
But
Gary wants to hear all the facts.
he's in because it airs on Sundays, a gambling commercial with a couple of well-known. It's such a great commercial that I remember the whole thing. But I just noticed that Garth Brooks was in it. I'm like, oh,
Kevin
still
Hart.
running.
Jamie Foxx.
Yes.
Jamie Foxx?
Either that or Kevin Hart.
Caesars
Those are the two.
Sports.
They
Book.
don't- they're not the same. They're
Kevin
not the
Hart's
same.
with LeBron James and everything.
Yeah.
Looks like we got Caesars Sportsbook here with Eli, Peyton.
Eli. Pate?
Mm-hmm. Pate. Hey, Pate.
And Garth.
Known
And Garth. Yeah, that's it.
known noble human being, Peyton Manning.
Good guy. Good guy.
Never been in a lick of
Who
trouble.
parked in your spot this morning?
God, Josh is
These
mad.
feel like the things I should be saying.
Josh so mad at everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Talking
Garth
about
is still on
talking
the
about
air.
training.
Garth
the
is still
training
doing his
table
residency in
allegation.
Vegas. I'm surprised you guys, when you went out there, didn't go see Garth.
I don't think he was doing that at the time.
Okay, well, that's why you didn't go see him then.
Maybe soon. Maybe I'll go back to Vegas again at some
Hmm.
point. Maybe. Who knows?
I mean,
I'd like to.
you a guy that goes to Vegas once a year, so I'm going to say yes. You
Yeah,
will
yeah.
be going back to Vegas.
Maybe I would go twice a year now.
Twice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who knows? Who knows?
You start getting comp regularly.
Yeah, there is a mega NIL tournament out there.
Oh,
yes, there
interesting.
is, which just has all the makings of a blank show.
Fun time.
That's right.
Yep.
Fun time.
Well, I hope there are more people at the NIL tournament than were at hockey when Omaha was out there this weekend.
Oh, I saw some of those clips.
Oh, it was well.
And it was a good field.
Yeah, it was.
Outside of Air
Yeah.
Force.
It was.
Who cares?
It looked
Omaha
like
won.
it looked like the most depressing environment.
Oh,
They-
no.
It did not look like Las Vegas.
Well, they tweeted out some of those clips, and it was just like
Oh, so-
it was just the sounds of hockey.
yeah, like did they have the lights on?
You know, on YouTube TV when they have
Oh.
like moments of Zen,
Yeah.
it was just like
Yeah.
that, but hockey.
Oh.
Eh,
Yeah.
But actually, that'd be kind of cool.
come on, get it. You're just hearing the skates going.
Well, that's what
by.
they try to do on
Is
Bally's.
this a COVID
Yeah.
game?
If you
Yeah,
watch the game on the Bally's
yeah.
app,
You know, it was really fun too watching the London game. Like speaking of Vegas,
London. You sound like you're
holy
from
hell! Like the Vegas advertisement,
Yeah,
is bordering
right
the
there.
stadium there.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like,
Yeah.
wait, is this game? If you turn down, you're like, wait a minute, why are they playing so early in Vegas? Like, actually, it's London.
Do you
No.
think the people from London who are traveling overseas to get to America mind that it's like 4 hours more onto their flight rather than just going to New York?
I'm sure they once. Well,
They probably
if
don't
they
know.
if they don't know that's their choice.
4 hours, 5 hours. I mean, that would be enough of a deterrent to me. I don't know how many people from London.
I just thought it was very interesting that the entire wrap around the
Yeah.
field is all Vegas.
Visit Las
Yeah,
Vegas.
visit Las Vegas.
Visit Las Vegas. When do we get
Our friends in the UK
when do we get game times for next week?
should be.
Well,
today.
Ohio
Yeah,
State,
but like
Nebraska
when?
might go into the 6-day window.
I
I speculated that in the office this morning.
many people are very curious about this.
Well,
Many people for many reasons. I would assume that you guys are very curious about this because you guys love doing Big Red Overreaction inside the tiniest studio in the world.
I am a big fan of an 11 a.m. kick.
That's right.
I
We
am
all
too.
are.
I am
Yes.
too.
We all are.
But
But I don't know.
I gotta
I
tell
don't know.
you, I
Back-to-back weeks.
think I'm not saying the announcers, but I think just the overall presentation, man, CBS is better than NBC and Fox.
Better than
Um,
NBC.
Yes. I think
As long as it's
CBS
not on
is.
Peacock.
I'm not
So-
talking about the announcers. Take out the announcers.
Can we have a
Because I'm not.
Oh, we're taking out the
Yeah, no
announcers.
Gary Danielson.
Because
I'm
I-
just looking at the presentation.
I was going to open up and have a question about Brad Nessler. He's gone a little bit Al Michaels.
He
He's
doesn't care.
he's a little
He's grouchy.
yeah.
Well, I
it
think-
doesn't feel like he's quite into it.
So I
like he was
think
the
this is the
SEC.
last year of both of their contracts with
So-
CBS.
So they're just yeah.
So there could be next year. But watching Penn State USC, like
It's great production.
camera angles, graphics,
Mhm.
just the picture, it looks so good.
It
Now
does.
it did in the SEC, but now that's our league.
I thought
mean, Ohio State, Nebraska on CBS, because Ohio State, Iowa was on CBS, right?
yes. No, that was Big Noon. No, Ohio State, Iowa. Yes,
Yeah.
that was CBS. Yeah.
I don't know.
So, Fox
It'd be
has
the worst
the
case scenario to
well-
start at 2:30.
Well, Fox has the 4K option, which is nice. On the they give you like, when you go in to click on
Yeah.
the game on the YouTube TV, it's like, do
Mhm.
you want to watch it in 4K? I'm like, yes, I do. Thank you. And that looks really, really good. NBC has like it looks good, and they're always doing the night game, so it's going to look better.
Yeah.
But when you play at Oregon, your camera is in outer space.
Oh my goodness!
But when Fox or FS1 does a game there, it looks like they have a lower camera.
Really?
Yes.
It's not as high.
Yep.
They gotta move that thing down.
Oh,
Nebraska's used to be that high too, and then they found a way to move it to that lower deck there.
Well,
like
that's what I was wondering
State
when the game started, because if you go like to the Oregon Boise State game, they were not that high up.
Really?
And I'm like, okay, maybe they're having some problems with their lower level camera. But yeah, I couldn't. Thank God the game was competitive, because that angle, it's tough to watch because you can't pick up the players. It's like watching all 22.
I still think NBC wins, just if we don't include that piece of it, just because it looks the best. And I think they've invested more. They have a studio crew.
They do.
They do other shows, like they're covering the games. Like it feels like they are a part of it. CBS is still I don't know.
But
If
CBS comes on at 2, right? And they do their studio show.
I think so.
Is that a Big Ten centric show?
I think
or is that just all college football?
I don't know what they were doing for this week. I don't even know if they were doing a show before this week.
I've never watched a 2:00 pregame show.
Yeah, I know.
I'm watching games.
But I know with the SEC, they'd come on with like college football today.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something like
that. I was
that.
actually, I don't know if I was impressed or not, but the the Northwestern Maryland Friday night game, their halftime show was the pre-canned
classic
big noon stuff that they had earlier that day. But at least it wasn't just a studio pre-canned one. It was actually, they were on site.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it any better.
I know.
It's still recorded.
But they're now like, see what they're doing? They're trying to make it look a little bit better by being outdoors on site. They're, promoting the big noon kickoff for the following day.
So crazy.
So what'd you think of the first half? Yeah, they didn't do any of that. But
how did we feel this weekend about TMZ Sports? Like when the Holden got kicked out for spitting on a guy that was wearing a visor in the Oregon-Ohio State game?
Yeah.
And they followed him up the runway.
Yeah.
And then did you guys see Avery Johnson in the K-State Colorado game?
He gets hurt. Mark Jones called him.
Yeah. So the Avery Johnson that looks a little bit different from that Avery Johnson.
He's a massive power
because he has more hair. When he got hurt,
I got my oxygen
when
tank
he got hurt, they followed him. They had that drive was so long that Avery Johnson got hurt, went back to the locker room, got assist, and came back into the game.
Yeah, and then he took a selfie with a guy.
Yeah, and the drive was still going on. I'm telling you, the late night games in Boulder for Colorado is must watch because it's showbiz.
Nuts. Yep.
It's Mark totally Jones nuts. is their announcer.
He's their hype man.
It's like wrestling. Like they bring their own show, they bring their own announcer.
It is. It's their own deal.
He was in his chest like bronchitis.
It was in his chest like bronchitis.
But
unbelievable.
Then he's like he's vaping on the air.
Yeah. It was the oxygen.
It was huffing.
He needed the oxygen.
Huffing. But yeah, the Avery Johnson, the basketball coach, was.
So the cool thing that I'm looking forward to now, especially when Colorado has home games, is what K-State showed to the maximum on Saturday night, which was doing all of the various dances.
Oh, the
Shador
dance,
the Shador celebration, the prime dance, the song, the Shador song in the locker room. They hit all the notes. Great job by K-State. So Cincinnati, they have it home in a couple weeks. Utah, they have it home in the middle of November, and Oklahoma State at the end of the year. Those are the 3 left where people
I hope they're
dancing
all night
on
games.
them.
All that stuff that we talked about in the Colorado game. And Kevin Durant was on the sideline.
Well,
and many more.
Let's see. All the Suns were there because they were playing in Denver last night.
Carmelo Anthony in an Avalanche jersey.
Yeah,
it's showbiz, man. You can't look away either.
Nope.
Like with
it is.
With
it's
no
great
Shador
television.
and Travis Hunter.
Yeah,
you're not going to watch Colorado.
No, not at all.
Because every game at home is chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's going to end like that. Like it's in the script.
Yeah.
Yep.
Colorado is
whether
now,
it's a Hail Mary or an attempted Hail Mary.
They've never played a normal game, and
no.
They don't intend on starting anytime
soon.
soon.
You can't look away.
Oh yeah, I'm locked in every single time. What's that? You scored. You took the lead with 56 seconds left. Too much time.
Yep.
Too much time.
You've got their defense is better without Shiloh, so he comes back, and all of a sudden their defense becomes bad. And then he dropped down on the rankings of Deion's kid in the post game.
Mm-hmm. He said he played like crap.
I liked that. I was like, oh, I think Nebraska changed something in this man. He's been different.
He's humble.
I saw the clip where he went on game day, and Desmond Howard asked him like, "Hey, what happened after that Nebraska game?" He was like, "Well, we got our butts kicked. You know, I think we needed to get our butts kicked." Deion said, and then he showed up as a bird in that Affleck commercial. He had the cowboy head, the little bird had the cowboy hat on. It's amazing. It's still going. It's still going.
He does though on the sideline. You're right. I mean, even when he talks since that Nebraska game, but even on the sideline, those games, the craziest crap could be happening. He's stoic. He's just super stoic there. Like what happened?
God, what a weird schedule too. Who knows what they're going to do in any of these? These games are all going to be within touchdown spreads, and they're all going to go into the last 2 minutes.
Yep.
So they have Arizona, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Utah, Kansas, and Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
None of those games will be decided by more than a touchdown.
No.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
The one blowout they had is the one that shocked everybody when they took it to Central Florida.
What a conference.
Other than that.
What a conference. They have no idea what's going on out there. Is it BYU time? Maybe.
I like BYU, but I almost want a playoff game in mid-December in Ames, Iowa.
Oh my.
That would be amazing.
Oh my. I could support that, to be honest with you, unless they get the bye, which now there's all this chatter about like, what if Army/Navy is undefeated and you put them and they're higher ranked than the Big 12 conference champ. People are trying to manifest that. We know that Iowa State's undefeated, right? We know that?
Yeah.
Okay. So like they're gonna have to lose 3 more games.
Now their November slate gets a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
But yes.
Just saying.
Oh, Army Navy play 3 times in a row. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Do it, cowards.
See, there you go.
Hey, I just love that the troops are ranked.
It is.
I have a lot of respect for the troops.
This is a big day to have 2 out of the 3 academies right there.
Except for the Air Force.
They're not good.
There was a stat that I had to go and look up that was mentioned by the aforementioned Mark Jones.
Hell yeah.
Who there are some guys that are just the late night announcers because they're going to have fun and they're going to be quirky.
Well, and
like Tim Brando and Mark Jones.
Remember, he was with RG3 before he got weirdly fired.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, and I watch a lot of the Sacramento Kings, so he's our TV announcer, and he's the same exact way. But the references, the pop culture references, are even more when he's doing the King games.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
I watch a lot of the Sacramento Kings.
I'm on the Beam team.
I thought you were a Heat guy.
I know, but I got to have a West Coast team.
No, you don't.
No,
yeah.
you don't. And
I like the Sacramento Kings.
Gary, I ask this as a friend. Are you gambling a lot?
No. So a couple of years ago, they were one of my teams on NBA League Pass. And so I watched a lot of them, and they're young and they're excited. They're like De'Aaron Fox.
You're the
like
one
Sabonis.
person in Omaha with League Pass?
My brother is the other one.
So with League, like most people around here, if you are an NBA fan, which is like not very many people, they're probably either watching the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Thunder, or the Bulls.
A lot of blackouts.
You're like, no, thank you. I want all the other games. Mm-hmm. League pass me.
So
the
Sacramento Kings and the Thunder 3 years ago were my team, and I was like, I watched them a lot. Mm-hmm. So I like the Kings.
All right, keep going. So what was the rest?
So there was a stat that was thrown out there. Did you guys hear this about Chris Kleiman at K-State? That 5 of his last 6 starting quarterbacks are in the NFL.
Well,
would you like to? Yeah. So this goes back to his time at North Dakota State.
Yeah. So you got, is it start at Lance or is there a guy before that?
There are 2 before that.
Wentz.
So Wentz, Carson Wentz,
stay local.
And then
Easton Stick.
Stick.
So Wentz, Stick, Lance.
And then you go to K-State and you got Adrian Martinez.
Yep. And there's one more.
The guy before that. The guy.
He's now with the Dolphins.
Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, Skylar Thompson. Yeah.
They all suck though.
So like,
whoa! Sorry, Adrian.
Yeah, come on.
Adrian's good.
So yesterday in the NFL,
and then Will Howard's next.
5 quarterbacks for Lincoln Riley started yesterday in the NFL.
Yeah.
Chris Kleiman has 5 of his last 6 starting quarterbacks, and Howard is the one that is not yet are on an NFL roster or in the NFL.
Chris Kleiman, Midwestern backup quarterback whisperer.
Yep.
If you want an NFL backup quarterback, you find Chris Kleiman.
But he's successful. Mm-hmm. All the guy does is win.
Oh yeah. Hey, look.
Yep.
Yes. If there's a thing about Chris Kleiman, I'm not going to be like, well, look at all those quarterbacks he's got in the NFL. He wins games.
Look at a program compared to Nebraska.
Zero NFL quarterbacks. Adrian.
Hey. Yeah.
Sorry.
He spent more time in Lincoln than he did in Manhattan.
That's right.
Under Chris Kleinman's tutelage.
That's right. You guys,
so Scott Frost got more guys in the NFL than
you guys. What did you think of Will Howard on Saturday?
Okay, the last
Buckeye overreaction.
The last moment. But can we talk about like the phantom sack where he like starts stumbling and then he spins and just falls down like in the previous one?
He started looking around.
Yeah,
he's like,
I thought he's gonna get a flag for that.
Yeah.
Like,
My wife
that wasn't
got
a good look.
Super annoyed with me because before the weirdo last play, there's 6 seconds left. And I just keep going, you don't have enough time. You don't have enough time.
Yeah.
There's not enough time. You
Throw
don't have
it
enough time
out
to do
of
both.
bounds.
You don't have enough time. Like before they snapped it, I'm just like, you don't have enough time to do both.
Yeah.
And she's like, calm down. They can't hear you.
Did he realize
I'm just weirdly
that the
into this
clock
game.
Starts after a penalty like that? I still wanted to. I was telling Gary, what was it?
Probably not.
Were they communicating in the helmet of like, dude, by the way, the clock's going to start?
I thought it was okay to run the play, just like try and get 2 yards or like bang it out of bounds and then just do it again.
What was the gain on that? It was like 8 yards.
He probably got almost 10.
Yeah,
would be my guess.
Yeah. So hey, what's wrong with the 4 yard gain and then a timeout? Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they still wouldn't have been close enough probably to give themselves a good shot at a field goal. But
a lot of Ohio State fans though had the still image of his butt hitting the ground with 1 second, and I can't remember which receiver it was, but right there
he was calling a timeout.
Yeah, calling the timeout.
See, I would have put the hands, and this is dangerous with the current replay system in college football. I would have run, and while I was going down, called timeout, and then make them decide. Well, was he down, and then he got the timeout? So you probably have like a second left. But let's be honest. This weekend was great for us viewing. It was another bad weekend for Big Ten officiating.
Yeah. Oh, yep.
I mean,
that's evergreen.
What replay review? You know, there's been 2 50-50 balls in Nebraska's games this year. There's a 50-50 ball right at the beginning of Oregon, Ohio State, and they don't even review it.
I know.
And it was a clear interception by Oregon that led to an Ohio State touchdown. Just keep it moving.
Yeah.
Remember what was the review in the Nebraska-Illinois game of the 50-50 ball in the end zone? Like 10 minutes?
At least.
Oh, yeah.
And I still don't think they knew after they called it. They're like, let's just go with that.
The Nahor ball, they're like, oh.
College reviews so many like little things that doesn't need to be reviewed. And then like a big play, we're like, we're good. Yeah. Just keep it moving.
Oh, yeah. And then as the viewer, as the viewer, you always take some comfort like, oh, I don't know. They're obviously going to review that.
I'm telling you, once again, they don't. Once again, we do this thing every year where the officials like. So now the thing that I've noticed in the NFL, watching that on Sundays, is that when there is a fumble, they let it be a fumble about 95% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
They never call the guy down in the field because they know that they could go back and review it. It would be easy to change it. Yeah. And so that is problem A with replay. In general. Like,
if there's a
very seldom do you see them
just
pointing at the ground. No, ground caused it.
Yeah. That never happens anymore. They don't
because they have the crutch, the fallback of, well, we can review this.
Idiotic. And then it becomes so impossible to overturn stuff because we need indisputable video evidence.
Because that's the problem is like, well, do you see something there?
You see how the system doesn't work?
And then, you talk about, okay, well, the important thing is what the original call was on the field, because you got to have
Well, we only made the original call because we
know we can go back on the replay if we were wrong. Well, what if there's a gray area?
See how the math doesn't work on that?
Is it indisputable?
ALCS is on TBS. Is that right?
Oh, no.
NLCS is Fox FS1?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Bob Costas?
Got a day game out in Chavez Ravine tonight.
Yeah, I think Brian Anderson and
I would hope so. Brian Anderson, Ron Darling, and Jeff Francoeur.
Yeah, Frenchie. Yep. That's what we get tonight.
Lauren Jabara reporting from the field.
Hey, they've been following Cleveland the whole time, so they're Cleveland's announcers.
That's right. Those are your guys.
Yep.
Lane Thomas.
Come on, BA.
Lane Thomas. No, BA is good. By the way, the 1620, the email is out. Four-quarter pick'em for the email subscribers is live.
If you're not subscribed, that's a you problem.
Yeah,
and can be easily remedied at 1620thezone.com.
Actually, yeah, you're right. We can't help you. That's how we help you right there.
Look at that. And there it is, right there.
Interesting. Who's tied atop those standings? I can't quite read it.
Connor Happer and Nick Grimm.
Well,
yeah. Congratulations.
The two all-knowing football men of the office.
What do we get for winning?
Is there any more Yeti coolers?
I was told $25,000. Is that wrong?
If that's the case, then I better. This is going to be a big week.
You better step up your game.
Yeah, just got some. Hey, it's all pretty packed in there.
There could be a Yeti cooler still left.
Yep. I
We're
assume
like
there's
the
some
middle.
around
We're
the
like
office.
we look like the Big Ten standings. There are a couple of people that are elite at the top, and then we're all kind of jumbled together.
It's a bit jumbled.
It's just like there's no difference between Indiana, Illinois, Nebraska, and Iowa.
No, after you and Grim, it's all like decided by one game.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are what, only 4 games up? So a bad week on your part and a good week for the lower half. Things can turn on its head.
You never know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure being at the top.
Yeah. Only one way to go.
You can put that on your resume.
Handled the pressure of being at the top all year long and 4-quarter pick 'em.
You could play for PJ Fleck then. Because of what you did to overcome the adversity and the competition of everybody in 1620 to get to the top of picking. Later in life, when Sophie gets a little bit older, you're going to be able to look back on your moment of winning a pick'em contest as the moment that you stayed focused, that you can stay focused and be a very good parent.
I can handle anything.
A lot of season left, guys.
I can handle anything.
Let's pump the brakes.
Can handle anything. All right. Well, you guys have a good afternoon.
Hey, you too, man.
Good
Enjoy
luck.
the baseball.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Mr. Vestman.
Thank you.
Got rid of Will Vest in the last round. You got your vest out.
I got the vest on now. Yes.
Well played.
Nobody knows Will Vest on this show.
I do.
Or no, except for you guys. But listening to the show is like, what?
Like,
Will
who?
Vest?
Huh?
Dudes naming random Tiger baseball players.
Which
You can do that
current roster.
with Major League Baseball right now. Just
Gary Carpenter. Suck it.
name me 8 relievers in baseball and see what the list of names that people come up with. It would be out of control. Out of control.
And they're like, oh my God, didn't you guys pitch one inning in the NLDS to get to the, you did.
That's the crossover. Powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It's Monday. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, here we go. Welcome in. Happy Monday. It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. Welcome back from your bye weekend, which featured lots and lots of football and hopefully washing the car. Josh, I understand that you did not take my advice.
Didn't get it in.
So you probably feel like you're not well rested and recharged from the bye weekend.
I feel pretty good, but in the back of my head, I do know that I could feel better right now, and that's my own fault.
So maybe that's a today job.
I like it. Probably be a very short line today.
Maybe. Check it out. Just, I know I got a couple tweets from a few people who took my advice over the weekend, and they say, Connor, thank you. I've never felt better. I appreciate this advice. I cut my grass down all short this weekend, got it ready for I walked out this morning to take out the trash, and I saw my own breath. I was amazed.
Oh no.
What was that?
My child was trying to get his own breath. He was trying to see it in the car this morning on the way.
That's not how it works.
I said, no. Let me tell you about science.
Try again. Just get yourself real hot, though, and when you get out of the car, then you'll start to see it. Welcome to a Monday show. Today, we will hear from Matt Rhule a little early today. We'll hear from him at the top of the 11 o'clock hour, so that is coming right up in just a few minutes. Mike Schaefer will still join the show. We'll just move him back to the noon hour. He said, I have my crock pot all crocked today, and I look forward to your call whenever that may be. So we can just call Schaefer whenever.
He's got to be going for it today because it's the first, actually
a
little bit of chill in the air.
It feels like it. So we'll see how white Mike Schaefer is today. Sam McKewon will join at 1 o'clock. That is the lineup, powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Want to hear from you guys. 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the J Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor or Josh O at 1620thezone.com. In the Equitable Bank Zone inbox, we say good morning to the YouTube streamers today. What's up, brother? Nice.
Can't get some flame emojis in the chat?
Yeah, throw some stuff in the chat. One of the chatters right now, Cody, was wondering if Iowa Western won this weekend. Josh, tell him.
The Iowa Western football, idle this weekend.
Idle. Mm-hmm. Idle. Double buy for Josh Hodson.
That's right.
How about that? Just in time for us to hit the real grind, because we are coming up on
Independence this Saturday at Council Bluffs. That's right, Connor.
Oh, Coach JB?
No.
He's not going to be there?
No.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I think he's probably not allowed within 100 yards of that team.
That'd be my guess as well. But we are getting very close, Josh, to crossover season. Not just times where we'll do the crossover 2 times before and after the show, but the crossover between football and basketball. Happy KenPom Day to those who celebrate. Oh, Josh, you have no expression on your face right now. But guess what? I do, and it's this. Smile. Yee.
I'm thrilled for you.
I love going to KenPom.com and having updated stuff.
But I have no feelings about this whatsoever.
None?
No.
You don't care that Creighton's number 12 in preseason KenPom?
Feels low.
You don't care that Nebraska's number 56 in preseason KenPom?
Feels high.
He's such a hater. You don't care that KenPom says Creighton's offense is the 3rd best offense in the country?
Now that is interesting.
So you do care about that.
I don't know if I care. I find it interesting.
You don't care that KenPom says Nebraska is very balanced. 62 offense, 48 defense. Pretty much exactly where they were last year. That means you probably don't care about Nebraska basketball's open scrimmage at the Devaney Center.
I definitely do not care about that.
Okay, yeah, you got me there. I don't care about that one either. But we'll probably ask our guests about it this week.
I saw Michael Bruntz covering it very extensively.
There may have been more people covering it than there were in attendance. We'll have to check the stats on that one.
I felt bad for Bruntz.
Bruntz. Robin,
I'm sure he
Bigelow,
loves his job.
all of them. They were all there. They were all talking about Braxton Mia and how tall he is.
Berke?
And little Berke action as well.
Little Berke? Is he a
No.
little guy?
No.
Okay.
He's big Berke.
Okay.
But a little Berke action on Sunday. All right. So many things to get to today. We'll of course look back at the weekend. We'll come back in a minute. We'll talk about our banger of the week, which was Oregon and Ohio State. The Big Ten put forth their best foot as it pertains to game of the year. The Big Ten kind of dominated the weekend. So we'll talk about that when we return. Also, some other things. You guys need to chill the hell out. We'll talk about that. Because all other things happened.
They did. We sure did.
And now everyone is shaking in their boots about Nebraska's last 6 games. We're so scared now. We used to be such a confident people. And now all we are is scared when Wisconsin beats Rutgers badly.
If the coach could just put their cigarette out on my nipples, that would be great. That's you, fan base. That's what you sound like right now.
Thank you for making that a drop.
It was requested by many people.
Okay. Well, we still have this.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Is it Giancarlo's fault that I got my Royals postseason hat that I'm wearing right now
Wrong side.
on Friday,
Other side.
less than 24 hours after they were eliminated? That is actually Giancarlo's fault.
Yes, they can.
That is Giancarlo's fault. I'm mad at him for that. I'm mad at MLB Shop. I'm sending the shirt back. I'm keeping the hat.
Oh.
I can't walk around with a shirt that says October ready.
It's still October.
Yeah, but it's past tense.
It proved that they proved that they were not October ready.
I'm angry about this, but I'm keeping the hat. That's my official stance.
Okay.
I paid for it. I'm keeping it. I waited 3 weeks. I'm hanging on to it.
That was a gift. I'm keeping it.
Okay. KenPom numbers. We'll check in on, people are also scared of Iowa as well, but I want to check on something else interesting that happened in the Iowa-Washington game on Saturday. Happy Indiana Hate Week to all who celebrate. I am certainly one of them.
Yeah. I've always hated the movie Hoosiers.
I am ready to hate. We'll ask if this is just life now for Alabama.
A lot of questions down there in Tuscaloosa.
Right. Also, a few of you shared some opinions sporadically throughout the weekend with the Happer show on Twitter.
Great.
And I'd like to discuss those opinions.
Okay.
So if we have time, we'll do all of it today. But once again, Matt Rhule's coming up in about 15 minutes. Stay tuned for that. Mike Schaefer, Sam McKewon. All to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Speaking of you Jaskers, you're patiently waiting the TV times to drop here in a few minutes. Maybe Nebraska, Ohio State will get flexed into a 6-day announcement window. Maybe not. Maybe they'll play at 11 and everybody will be happy. Maybe they'll play at 2:30.
Oh.
And Jays fans and Skurs fans will be happy because, right, you could watch a football game and then conceivably or you could just watch it downtown and then walk over to Creighton and Purdue.
It's good. That option's good for the fans.
Good for the people, and we work for the people,
us.
Josh.
Yeah, exactly.
Not good for Josh Hudson.
Exactly. Oh,
not good for Josh
come
Hudson.
on.
So
BTN 11 a.m. Come on, let's go.
I don't think anybody wants that. Right? Cody writes in on YouTube.
Hi, Cody.
Teams are now 1-5 the week after they play Nebraska. What's that mean? What's that mean?
Means we're wrecking people.
Well, Rutgers had a tough time with Wisconsin this weekend, and it has sent people into a frenzy. People are not excited about the last 6 games of Nebraska's schedule now. And then they watched what Iowa did to Washington over the weekend.
They scored 40 points.
And they watched USC, and they watched Ohio State, and probably didn't have a thought on UCLA.
Hey, they almost beat Minnesota.
But no, I don't think anybody actually watched that game. I certainly didn't. I didn't watch a second of it. Did you?
I watched the last couple minutes.
Did you Big in 60 it?
No, I watched the last couple minutes of it live.
Really?
Yeah.
What was going on? Tell me what you saw.
I'm
sure it was a lot of fun.
It was weirdly close, and then Minnesota ran the ball for a couple first downs, and that was the end of UCLA's chances.
Yeah. The Bruins are 1-5 so far this year. Not very good, Josh.
Nah.
And then people also had comments on 2 teams that Nebraska has already played, Illinois and Purdue, and how Purdue can score 3 points going into halftime, look to be dead in the water, down 24-3 at halftime, and then score 46 in the second half.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
And
lose in overtime.
I can't.
That's the kind of stuff that breaks your spirit, right?
Yeah, I'm oddly excited to Big in 60 this. It's not on. It's actually on right now, I think.
Maybe they'll say that maybe Purdue could say, hey, look, we're trending up. We put together some halves now.
That's how they're going to sell it.
But, tough. 1-5, 0-3 in the conference. Speaking of tough, USC looked like they had Penn State kind of dead to rights.
A lot of people tweeting out a lot of stats about Lincoln Riley's head coaching career.
But then they had that guy, Tyler Warren. Where did this guy come from?
44.
White guy, number 44, 17 catches for 224 yards. What the hell was that?
Coach, he's number 44. I don't have to guard him.
He looks like a fullback. He snapped the ball on that play where he caught the touchdown. What is going on at Penn State? And then, of course, we had Oregon and Ohio State. That was our banger of the week. What a lovely, lovely college football game it was. Did Oregon intentionally put 12 men on the field on the second to last play of the game in order to prevent a deep shot for Ohio State to maybe, take the lead and win the game? So you're on the 43-yard line. There are 10 seconds left for the Buckeyes. The Ducks added that 12th man to prevent a big play. Ohio State threw it, incomplete, took 4 seconds off the clock, and then they're on their own 38-yard line, and the following happened. Will Howard did not throw it out of bounds. He did not throw it to the sideline. He didn't get down soon enough, and Ohio State had a timeout in their back pocket and were not able to use it before time expired. And that was the game, 32-31, and Ohio State, now they do the thing that Ohio State does after every time they lose, which is look at themselves very, very deeply. Fortunately, Josh, for everyone, they have a bye next week, and then they play Nebraska. That'll be exciting for them.
Well, if you question
they're gonna be
yourself,
so pissed.
If you question yourself for long enough, you will inevitably fail. So
it is definitely a
hopefully-
bad taste to go in your mouth going into the bye. No doubt
Yeah.
about that. Maybe not as bad as in previous years where losses mattered. Now losses don't, especially if you're Ohio State. But what'd you think about how the last 10 seconds went for the Buckeyes? You were on the phone, so I couldn't get your opinions.
I told you during the crossover, I just kept shouting with 6 seconds left as they're running another play before kicking the field goal. Like, you don't have enough time. You don't have enough time. You can't do this. You do not have time for 2 plays. Sure enough.
I mean, I was in support of what they were attempting to do. It's just that Will Howard could have gone down 2 seconds sooner. They got the timeout and they would have been able to, even if the clock would have ran out, they could have went back and reviewed it and say, "Hell, okay, he got the timeout. That's it." And then we'll take our shot at whatever it is, probably a 50-ish yard field goal. At least you get a shot. But now you're on the plane back home and you realize that the plane is sinking. Why is the plane sinking? Because it's too heavy. That timeout weighs too much. Yeah, that timeout just weighs too much. Why is the plane not going very high into the sky? Because it can't fly because that timeout weighs too much.
Good analogy.
Not really an analogy, not even really a real thing, but just a joke, I guess.
Good joke.
I didn't think it was that good of a joke. So, Will Howard, what happened, man? It's tough.
Boy.
It's a big proving point for Oregon, though. I thought they matched it physically.
Yeah.
And I think there is a twinge of, maybe Ohio State is not. When you look around college football, Josh, and nobody's impenetrable.
Yeah.
Nobody's like they can't lose. Depending on matchups or whatever, but like I don't know who the
Texas
I don't
is
know
maybe closest to that, but I don't think they're there.
They have some problems.
Yeah.
I don't know who I guess Texas is probably the best team in the country because they've shown the best so far. But I can't tell you with any sort of certainty who's going to win the national championship at this very moment.
No. And that's a lot of fun.
So I have a prediction, I guess. I do think these are our 2 best teams in the Big Ten. So these 2 teams will play for a second time in the Big Ten championship game, and then they'll play for a third time in the college football playoff. Ohio State will win the Big Ten championship game, and then the third game is up for grabs.
A trilogy.
Tough to beat a team twice, but somebody's going to have to in that specific case.
Yeah.
Then what? And there's definitely some. I see. There's definitely some slippage there for Ohio State. They're just not quite as airtight as maybe they once were. They're very talented. Nobody's gonna argue that. But just people wondered when Urban Meyer left. It's like, is it gonna just? They're gonna be really talented, but is it just gonna slip a little bit over time? I think there's a little slippage there. A little slippage.
Definitely.
It should give everyone a little bit of hope.
No, I know we're huge. I know we're huge in Columbus.
Yeah, well, Ross is probably triggered.
Calm down. You're fine. You're a fine football team. All your goals are still in front of you.
Yeah. I'm just not a big Will Howard guy. It all came to a head at the end of the game.
Buckeyes fans are not a big Will Howard guys right now.
Yeah. And then, I want to say this about the conference. Like, what a showcase for the league. Just a couple weeks after the Georgia-Alabama banger, we have Texas and Georgia coming up this weekend. So this will be SEC spotlight time again. Yeah, unless you're, of course, interested in Nebraska and Indiana, their showcase game of the week in the conference. But the Big Ten dominated Saturday. That was the plan when the conference set the things up the way that they did with their TV partners and their times of the day. You had Oregon, Ohio State at night. You had Penn State, USC at 2:30. You had Iowa, Washington in the day. They were all they weren't all good games. They were Iowa and Washington. I watched it.
Right.
I got a little bored at the end of the 11 a.m. slate. I turned on baseball.
They were marquee matchups.
I turned on baseball for a little bit. Well, I kind of did want to see what was going on with Wisconsin and Rutgers too. So I listened to that game for a while. I was mowing the lawn. I decided that I got them. It was time to get the mow in about halfway through the 11 a.m. window.
That's it. I've had enough. I'm going to go.
I just thought that was my window. I wasn't mad. I was just thought this is going to be my window.
And you were right.
I was right. I nailed it. Travis writes in.
Hi, Travis.
I think it's even funnier that Kyle McCord won on Saturday with Ohio State losing.
We don't ask this question a lot on this show. What do we think of Syracuse?
What do we think of Syracuse?
They're 5-1.
It's not really a question that I've pondered much this year.
Sure. I understand. It's okay to not feel you're equipped to respond.
Do I have an opinion?
Yeah.
Is that your question?
Yeah.
We have a Syracuse Pitt mid-off this weekend. Oh, actually, that's next weekend.
Pitt's on Pumpkin Watch.
Josh, you debuted your Pumpkin Watch, by the way.
I did. Pitt, a lot of teams.
Why was it Indiana on Pumpkin Watch?
Just in case they beat Nebraska, and then I thought they were on Pumpkin. You thought they were on Pumpkin. I said they were on Pumpkin Watch. That's how that conversation would play out.
Okay. All right. Well, might find out who's a pumpkin every week. Every week you have to declare who's on Pumpkin Warning on like Friday or something. We'll figure that out as we go. All right. We'll come back. Matt Rhule, Monday press conference is coming up. Many things to discuss. What is Nebraska's health situation going into the Indiana game coming off of the bye? Are they healthier? What might that defensive back room look like with Tommy Hill potentially coming back, managing some pain? Plenty more. Nebraska's role as a spoiler this weekend. And I can't wait. Josh, I cannot wait to just talk about this game. The matchup. It's gonna be a very fun week on this show. And let's start it off with a little Matt Rhule press conference coming up on 1620 The Zone. Welcome back. Happy Monday. More of the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Josh already has a Kurt Signetti quote from this morning.
Yeah, he's chatting it up at the
press conference.
Yep. I go to Zach Osterman's Twitter account for all things Indiana football.
Of course, as you would.
Kurt Signetti, full of praise for Nebraska offensively, but underscores, as always, it's more about us.
Well, it is going to be literally about them when Big Noon rolls in on Saturday.
Yeah, they'll definitely talk about Indiana a whole bunch.
I'm fired up for Nebraska to be in the exact position that they're in. I just love this. I think it's a good spot for them. They get to fly under the radar a little bit. Indiana gets to do all the talking and all this, whatever. And meanwhile, they know, Indiana knows in the back of their heads. In fact, they're confident, but they know that they haven't played anybody yet. They know that they haven't played anybody yet. Nebraska, nobody is saying that their strength of schedule is the best thing ever, but they are tested. They have been tested, and they've failed to test. They've passed some tests. They've been in closer games. They've played better teams and found a way to win those games, whether they're in the second half like it was against Purdue or the first half blitz like it was against Colorado. So I think Nebraska knows that in the back of their heads. And I think from a football standpoint, this is just an awesome matchup. It's an awesome matchup. We know what Indiana's going to try to do. Their quarterback hasn't turned it over much this year, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Are you looking at just what they do from an analytical standpoint, like Indiana's offense? They extend drives, they finish, right? Nebraska is a defense that likes to keep things in front of them a little bit, and their defense has been pretty not necessarily good at getting off the field on third down, but anecdotally, I think pretty good when the other teams drive it down the field. They bow up. They've had a couple notable like goal line, red zone kind of stops this year where they forced the other team to take either no points or 3 points. I don't know. That's kind of where the rub is on Saturday. We'll see if Indiana is able to hit enough big plays or drive it all the way down the field on Nebraska's defense, which should be in good health, right? So,
theoretically, yeah.
So we'll hear from Matt Rhule whenever we hear from Matt Rhule. I was told 11 today, Josh.
You were told 11, huh?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Let's wildly speculate.
Well, there was an email that went out, which admittedly I did not receive because I have problems with receiving the emails these days from Nebraska Athletic. I get like a batch of 7 emails like 8 hours later.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like press releases from every sport, but it's like at 3:00 in the morning. I don't know what's going on. I get the press releases from other places.
Signetti on Dylan Raiola.
Nylon.
He's a really talented guy. He's got a great arm talent, plays with a lot of confidence.
I'm waiting for the bulletin board material. Come on, say something.
Say Google me.
Yeah. Talk about how little respect you have for any other thing. Come on. Do it. Do it. All right. So we can go here as well while we're waiting on Matt Rhule.
I'm monitoring the wires.
As you do. Creighton men's basketball checks in at number 15 in the AP preseason top 25. Number 15, Josh. Now you thought KenPom had him low at 12. What do you think about 15? How about the disrespect on that?
Wildly disrespectful.
Kansas is the preseason number 1.
For now.
Kansas will be having to make a trip to Omaha. Alabama is the preseason number 2. Alabama will get a visit from the Creighton Blue Jays. 2-time defending national champion, UConn is number 3. UConn will be playing the Blue Jays twice this year.
All right, that sounds terrible.
Houston is not on Creighton's schedule, but I do think they're in the mega NIL tournament. So they'll at least they'll
see each other in the hotel.
They're like, hi guys. Yeah, we're staying at the MGM. Oh, you are too. Iowa State is a preseason number 5. Creighton connection. Greg McDermott coached there. Bang. Gonzaga is number 6. Creighton played them in the Sweet 16 that one time and got blasted in the COVID year, in the bubble.
That's right.
All right. Boom. Duke.
I had forgotten.
Duke. Creighton played them in the NCAA tournament one year. Baylor. Creighton played them in the NCAA tournament twice.
Didn't go well one time.
Didn't go well that one time. It went very well the other time. People forget. North Carolina. Creighton played them in the NCAA tournament that one time. Arizona.
That guy transferred
They played
from
him
Creighton to Arizona.
They played him at the Maui.
Oh, the Maui Jim Maui.
The Maui Jim Maui. You talk about Nemhard? He didn't go to
Yeah.
Arizona.
Oh, he didn't? Was it on a short list?
He went to it was.
Okay.
He went to Gonzaga.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Auburn. Can't think of an Auburn Creighton connection.
Charles Barkley loves basketball.
Probably
Creighton
probably
plays
love them.
basketball.
Tennessee. Creighton played Tennessee in the NCAA tournament last year.
Mhm.
Texas A&M. Creighton plays Texas A&M in the Mega NIL tournament this year. Purdue. Creighton plays Purdue in an exhibition game in less than 2 weeks. And then it's Creighton at 15. There you go. There's your Creighton connected top 15.
Wow.
Your Creighton pilled top 15, Josh. How do you like it?
Kurt Signetti.
Oh, we got more. We got more.
It's balls to the wall all the time.
I bet it is. I bet it is. I can hardly contain my excitement for this game. I have whipped myself into a frenzy about this for weeks. I'm not backing down now, Josh. Indiana is going to find out if people are going to find out if Indiana is a real life football team. And guess what, Josh? Over the week, so they had an early lineup for this last week because both teams were on bye, where Indiana, the Hoosiers, were 3.5-point favorites. And then over the weekend, they took it down, they brought it back up, and it said Indiana minus 6.5. I want that number to go higher and higher and higher.
Oh.
I want that number to go as high as it could possibly get, because I think what's happening here, part of it is people are trying, people, and I mean, handicappers, sportsbook, people who make the lines.
Sharps.
People are trying to milk every last dollar out of the Indiana train before it runs off the tracks. You love to see it. I want this number to go I want it to go to 30. I hope Indiana's favored by 30 on Saturday. I don't think it'll get bought up that high, but maybe it gets bought up to a full touchdown, another half a point or something like that.
When asked about Big Noon kickoff coming to town, quote, we have enough maturity, good leadership, and experience on this football team. I'm confident we can handle that, but that's my job too.
But that's my job too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope Kurt Signetti's able to stay unemotional this week. I wish him good luck.
Good luck.
That'll certainly happen. Right? All right. So let's get a break out of the way, Josh. That way we could fill it up when Matt Rhule appears. I hope this press conference was at 11. I don't know. That's the information that I got from somebody else.
I trust you.
I don't. This is not my information. Somebody else's. So I just hope we're not just going to stack up breaks and then have to just do the last 2 hours without a break. It's possible.
Filibuster for 2 hours.
All right. We're back with, I think, Matt Rhule coming up. Connor Happer Show, 1620 The Zone. Here's a tweet from Edward Schlichterwitzden Owachowski on X.
Definitely a real person.
Yeah, I mean, they have a real take. They tweet at Happer Show on the J-Tech Instructions on Twitter feed. Edward says it's going to be so fun to hear the Nebraska media walk back all their snark toward Indiana.
Snark?
After the Hoosiers exposed Nebraska in a close game because they simply know how to win games, and Nebraska doesn't. Josh, do you think that might be a little oversimplistic? Do you think Indiana knows how to win games and Nebraska doesn't, even though their combined records are 11-1?
I'm really stuck on the Indiana knows how to win football games. What in Indiana's illustrious football history tells you they know how to win football games? Now, obviously, this is a new era that we are in with Indiana football, new coach who does know how to win games.
Oh, he has won games before. What is I hate that phrase, knowing how to win. What does that even mean? What are you saying when you say that? Knowing how to win.
The moment is not too big for you.
Coaches all the time they preach, they talk nonstop about the process. It's all about the process. Like Matt Rhule talks about it. It's like, hey, we got to do one thing at a time. It's just one thing at a time. It's like, oh, something bad happened. Just play the play. Play the next play. Knowing how to win, that just is the antithesis of that exact thing. Knowing that the winning is the result of what you get, right?
The result of the process.
It is a result. It is a result. The other option is, of course, losing. But if your process is the same, it does not have 100% correlation to winning or losing. Even if your process is the same 100% of the time in getting there. That phrase is stupid to me. I hate that phrase. Knowing how to win. But I can tell you this, Edward Schlichtenbauer, I am not walking back nothing. So I don't know. I don't think the media is going to walk anything back either. What's so wrong about saying Indiana hasn't played anybody yet? They haven't.
If we die, we die.
They haven't.
No,
they haven't played any. Like Indiana fans know this. They haven't played anybody yet. You don't think they're wondering going into the game? It's like, yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to go. Or do you think or do you really think they're that naive and they're saying, hey, well, we're good now. We've thrown out 100 years of football history just completely out the window because this coach showed up and he beat a bunch of trash garbage cans in his first 6 games. And now this is my life. I can't believe that Indiana is a college football playoff. Like, you can't be thinking that. You're not stupid enough to think that.
I think this now, if I knew an Indiana football fan, I might say how they were acting right now, that they have probably talked themselves into falling in love with this coach and acting like him.
That's fine.
Acting just like him, where, nope, I expect to win every game we step on the field for because we're Indiana football, home of Lee Corso and Jerry DiNardo.
Very successful coaches.
That's right.
Very successful coaches. Definitely not more famous for their work that they did on television afterwards.
When they're allowed to appear on television.
Yeah, that's sad. The Corso thing is sad.
We keep saying it.
Well, that it's sad?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he didn't. Yeah. So, by the way, anyway, Edward, I'm not, we're not walking nothing back around here.
Nah. If we die, we die.
If we die, we die. Untether yourself. Exactly. So this brings us to a tweet that I got over the weekend.
A tweet
from it was an opinion.
An opinion.
Opinion from Joel.
Hi, Joel.
Joel says, I have an opinion. This took place on Saturday at 11:11 a.m. I have an opinion. College football pregame shows are beyond ridiculous and no longer fun.
Whoa.
I was actually thinking watching College Game Day today or this weekend and then, seeing clips back of it afterwards. I kind of think that College Game Day is back.
I
think we were definitely souring on this, a couple of years ago. It doesn't matter anymore. Big Noon is here to take over. the additions of Nick Saban and Pat McAfee have completely changed that show. And we have to give credit to Pat. I know we don't really care much for Pat on this show, but that is the perfect place for him.
He has injected that show with a youthful life that it did not have before he arrived. And Nick
Saban is exactly the opposite. Yeah, they just look at each other.
And they love each other. They genuinely love each other. Nick gives you the X's and O's, and Pat, what about the intangibles?
The clip that was going around maybe the most over the weekend was when the Duck showed up and he started shaving that guy's head. So Saban's in the middle of a thing. He's grinding some tape on somebody, and they close up. They cut to McAfee, and he goes, it's like what's going on? And then Saban just keeps going. He just keeps going with his take, and eventually Pat's like, hey, not to interrupt you here, but that Duck is cutting that guy's hair.
Rhule is at the podium. We'll get there. We'll let Why Not Hoiberg have the last word on this.
Okay.
Pat McAfee is a magoosh in other areas of life, but he is great on game day in WWE.
He is. I kind of think game day is back.
Definitely.
I love that. All right, do we have it, Josh?
Yes, we have it. We are ready. We are queued
Started at the beginning.
It is at the beginning of when Nebraska hit live, okay? I don't know. That might be mid-sentence. It might be mid-question. It might be mid-clickety-clack on the type board that you guys hate.
Oh, you ready to hear this quote, too? Because I'm going to give it to you. We're like a minute behind now. Rhule, quote, this is probably a top 10 football team we're facing. Just gas them up. With that, here's Matt Rhule in Lincoln. With that, here's Matt Rhule in Lincoln.
It's still day to day. I'd expect Tommy to have a chance to play this week. He was all set to play last week and actually ruptured the plantar fascia as he was running onto the field and after the tunnel walk. So, which is a good thing because when you rupture it, it's very painful. So it just comes, but it kind of alleviates the problem. So Tommy practiced all last week. So I'd assume Tommy has a chance to play. So other than that, I don't know if anyone's special, but I think we're pretty healthy.
What type of challenges does their offense, which has been riding pretty high, present for a defense?
I mean, well, they're leading the Big Ten in passing, and at least they're close, if not the top in rushing. They're top 10 in the country in offense. They're top 10 in the country in defense. They're the only team that hasn't trailed all year. They've scored 80 points in the fourth quarter. So this is probably a top 10 football team we're facing, right? Just it's one of they started the season unranked, so they're not maybe getting the due that they're supposed to get, right? I mean, other people can lose to a bad team and they'll keep them in the top 10 because whatever they started in the top 10, but Coach Cignetti's done an amazing job. Quarterback's absolutely fantastic. They got playmakers. They're good on special teams. It's a great team.
Kind of hallmark of the era, right? The transfer portal NIL era being able to take, I don't know how many it was, 10, 12 guys from his former school. Is this something we should just get used to in college football from here on out?
Yeah, everyone has to forget the logos and the names and just like, oh, well, this team's always been good or, whatever. I mean, Vanderbilt backs up a win against Alabama with a win over Kentucky, who's probably the best defense in the SEC, right? Because they've got a dynamic quarterback. I'm sure they have. I haven't really watched them, but I spent Saturday watching college football, and every game's starting to come down to the end. You're really starting to feel the impact of the 2-minute timeout, especially at the halves. People that play the middle eight, right, have an advantage. And then your roster, your roster, how healthy you are, but yeah, I mean, you can have a really good team and all of a sudden lose them one year. I think in college football now, if you lose a coach to a better job or a different job, it can decimate your program. It can be a quick fix for another program. So there's a lot of things that are just different, and I think everyone's going to have to just kind of, like you said, just kind of get used to it.
And you could probably lean more on the transfer portal because, I think there's pretty good NIL support here, but you have chosen, I think, to build it a little bit more systematically, maybe more, slow cook it a little bit. Why is that just your global opinion of why you wanted to do it that way?
Well, I just don't believe in running kids off. We're still associated with a university, right? Like, I don't think that's what Nebraska wants. So, but again, like, if I was coming from another college, it would have been a little different, you know. I just was coming from the NFL, so you know. But I'm not in any way, you know. I mean, maybe I would do it differently now if I did it later. I mean, we did the portal pretty good this year, I think. You know, Isaiah's been pretty good. Jamal's been good. I mean, we've done the right things. I just the teams that I want to be like, you know, in terms of their records, recruit really well, and I think we can recruit really well. I think recruits are figuring out that like they can come here, and so I think our recruiting will get better and better and better. You know, you just have to win. You know, you have to win a little bit, right? And so, and be, you know, you go back to this year, you guys asked me what my goals were. They were to be relevant. You know, this is a relevant game. The next game's a relevant game. The game after that's they're all relevant, you know, based upon what we've done the first 6 games. So, but yeah, I'm just not here to run kids off and get rid of kids. It's not my deal. There's a time and place for that, you know, if a kid's not doing the right things, but I wanted to be their coach.
You mentioned early in the year, I think it was when you got ranked for the first time, that there was that whole hunter versus hunted mentality that your kids would have to get adjusted to. What kind of a sense do you get for the dynamic of that conversation going into this game, and how maybe it's a little bit flipped, if you feel like, do you feel like it's flipped at all?
Yeah, I think coming out of that Illinois game, we learned a lot of very, very valuable lessons. I think we applied those versus Purdue and Rutgers in many ways. I thought we had the right attitude playing in those games. You know, you're watching college football this week, and like every good game comes down to the last possession, like it's an NFL game. And so, you know, hopefully the last 2 weeks have gotten us used to that. You know, this is a game though where we're facing, you know, this is probably, I try not to look at the lines and all that, but I'm pretty sure we're probably the underdog, right? So this is our guys' first time for doing that, right? So I much prefer that. You know, I love turn on game day and seeing them all pick the other team. That's good for us, you know. So, you know, it's just kind of who I am and who a lot of our guys are. You know, we're not, you know, we are who we are. So, I think our guys, you know, I think our guys understand at this point, like, this is going to come down to football. We got to practice well, play well. Doesn't matter what music we listen to before the game. Doesn't matter what we wear. Doesn't matter what all of that's fun. We're going to have to block and tackle and, again, make one more play. I mean, you watch the end of Ohio State, Oregon. What a great football game with 2 great teams. And with all the things they did all game, it just came down to like a couple things at the end, right? So just trying to get ourselves a little bit better this week to make one more play.
You said after the Illinois game that wasn't Nebraska defense, your players echoed the same sentiment. What have you seen out of them now? Just 17 points in the last 2 games, big changes.
Yeah, they played a lot better. I think the biggest thing is, even to go back to Illinois, like it was, you know, a couple crucial mistakes in crucial times, and we didn't tackle at the level we wanted to. You know, I mean, that's an outfit that went out there against Purdue this week and scored 55, 59 points. I mean, so they're Altmaier's an excellent quarterback. So globally, I mean, it probably wasn't terrible, but it just, you know, we have a standard for the way we play. We can't, if the other team's better than us and they score, that's fine. But like the way the film looks, the way we hit, the way we contact, the way we get off blocks, the way we communicate should be better. And I thought on that night, that was a tense defense that just wasn't quite playing to the level they were capable of. And had we known Tommy was hurt that badly, I think, you know, maybe he doesn't play that first drive, you know, but, you know, Tommy's such a team guy. He went out there and battled, and we adjusted. Sierra's done well since then.
I know at first the excitement was just Javen getting back on the field. How have you seen him do with the short runway he's had, sort of to jump back into taking on more snaps and all
Yeah,
goes with it?
Javen's done great. I mean, I think he played like 13 or 14 snaps. You guys will probably know the numbers better than me, but you know, the goal was like 10 to 15 snaps the first game. I think he played 25 or so the second game, roughly. You know, this is a great game for him, you know, to play in, because he's so athletic, freaky athletic. He can play the run and the pass. And again, this is a really balanced offense that we're facing. You know, the run game is well put together, and the backs are excellent. So hopefully Javen can give us, you know, 30, 35 snaps maybe this game.
After watching a lot of football on Saturday, how unpredictable does the Big Ten look right now? Just the way some of these games played out. I mean, Purdue with the backup quarterback almost beats Illinois, and obviously USC could have beat Penn State. I mean, there's a lot of things that played out that I'm guessing most people couldn't really have predicted.
Yeah, I think though, when you look at when they expanded the Big Ten to 18 teams, and they brought in a team that played for the national championship last year, just think about that all of itself. Oregon, who, Dan's done a great job, but even before him, Mario did a great job. They've been a 2-loss team for right in that range for the last 5 years, and they've been a great team for a while. Then you bring in a team of that USC that won 11 games 2 years ago or whatever it was. You had to, you put the travel in. I mean, I talked a lot about the travel, and everyone kind of oh, I got you, Matt. Like the travel, the weather, like that was hard to throw the ball last week against Rutgers. That was 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts, at least is what it said. It was hard. I think you're going to see a lot of unpredictability. It's like the NFL, right? You never know in the NFL who's a good year in college football moving forward is going to be like 8-4, 9-3. It's just what it is. It's why, there's a lot of teams that do really well, but not playing who we're playing. It's just a different league, right? And the Big Ten, the SEC they've just evolved, right? And then, so, you look at the statistics on traveling, multiple time zones, what that's doing to teams. I mean, I just think it's all really interesting. It's all about how healthy you are. There's not as many, take the game off games. You have to be ready to play every week, and people are battling. And again, now teams are losing on the last play of the game, right? I mean, Illinois has done a great job. Brett's done a great job. They won 2 games in overtime, right? I mean, it's just kind of what the Big Ten is going to be, I think, moving forward. It's going to be like the NFL.
How do you sense that your team responded after the bye, rejuvenated, and just coming at a good time of the season halfway through to get a week off?
Well, we worked our tails off last week. Now we got better. All right, that's one thing. I got really proud of some of the young guys. Some of our young guys have improved at a high level. So I gave them one day where it was just them. Then we had 2 days where it was the vets too, and one day was a mix of the young guys, and then the last day was purely just the travel squad working versus scouts and the like. So we really worked. But I think to your point, like mentally, emotionally, right, the competitive stamina of, we face some pretty good teams. I mean, whether people think they are, we face some teams with 4 wins. So we've had to battle every week. We're not like just running away with the game and it's just an easy game. So the guys have had to show competitive stamina and they've had to grind. And I think it came at a good time. I was able to get away. The players were able to get away. Even if get away means they sat in their dorm room and watched anime, whatever it is they watch nowadays. They got to have some time to themselves. And I thought everyone was in a pretty good mood this morning. Everyone looked out. We just practiced. It was excellent. So hopefully it benefits us, because we got 6 ball games left. We got, 3 and then another bye. And, this is as big a game as we've ever probably played in terms of, the stakes and, all the things that get people excited on the road, ranked team, best offense, probably that we faced, one of the best that we'll see. So, I'm sure our guys are focused.
You mentioned last year, the first 2 games on the road, Minnesota, Colorado, maybe some things took your team a little bit, rattled them a little because of the crowd and the noise. How maybe did you change prep going into this Indiana game where the crowd's probably going to be as loud as it was in Minnesota and Colorado?
Yeah, I hate talking about last year because I'm embarrassed of it, but we were a huddle cadence team, right? And we switched this year to a clap to allow us to be louder on the road. Now we still have 2 false starts at Purdue. We're still not perfect. I mean, we're far from perfect. So, you get down there in the goal line, and you're trying to run the power play on 4th and 1, and you're just kind of sitting there like, hopefully no one false starts, or hopefully we don't get it. So. I just think we were more prepared. We used crowd noise the whole camp. So I think the noise in and of itself is better, or preparation for that is better. And the team just didn't really know us or know, I think when you go on the road, if you have a team that actually really cares about each other, and if you have a team that really wants to see each other, be successful and is there for the team, then you have a chance to win on the road. I watched a lot of football. One thing about college football right now, there's a lot of guys out there, and the whole time they're playing for their personal brand. Like they could do something for the team. They could take a knee. They could step out of bounds. They could end the game. And instead it's all trash. Watching college football is hard now. It's all trash talking and really excessive trash talk. It's you beat a team and you're waving goodbye at them, and Iowa did that to us last year. I mean, there's sometimes rivalries. I get it, but I don't want to see our team do that. I want to see our team walk out, and if you watch me, I can shake their team's hand. I shake the players we game plan for. I shake their hand. And yes, I struggled a little bit with that this weekend watching college football. Like every time a guy makes a play, it's like he has to turn and tell the guy he made a play, you know, and trust me, I'm all for a little trash talk, but there's a way to do it in a way that doesn't, I don't know, disrespect the game and disrespect your opponent. Because truly playing against good teams is allows you to show what you can do. Like, you can't show what you can do when you play bad teams. You have to play good teams. And so Indiana gives us a chance to show us what we can do. But as much as anything else, I want us to respect the game, and I want us to respect, you know, what it means to be a Nebraska Cornhusker. And I have a lot of respect for Coach Signetti and his staff and their players. And so I'm hoping we play a certain way.
Hey, you guys showed that jumbo set last week against Rutgers with Liebentritt and Mazuka and a couple big tight ends. Obviously, you're limited in situations you can use that short yardage, but having success with that, does it start to create some kind of a mentality or help you create a mentality that you want to extend to other areas of the run game here over the second half?
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, I did like an extensive study of the run game, you know, and, you know, some of the numbers are hurt a little bit by some of the sacks we've taken, you know, and some of the numbers are helped by some of the speed sweeps. I try to take all that out. Like, you know, we just haven't had the explosive runs, if that makes sense. Like, there's a lot of 4 and 5 yard runs, which you like, right? Keep you on track, but we haven't had the big runs. You know, that 2-back power set, like that's what I was known for at Temple. Like, we were going to run that against you 15 times a game. You're going to have to deal with, you know, I run that play. I get texts from 20 guys like, hey, and we ran it the game before too. We ran it against Purdue on the goal line. We ran against Rutgers. So, you know, you do it enough, people, you know, we line up and there's 10 people around you. So you're not going to have big hits. But I think the big thing for us as we move forward is just to really, really find some ways to get some long runs. You know what I mean? I like some of the consistency of the runs more than I thought I did. But we got to hit a couple big ones, right? And so we haven't done that. But yes, absolutely. Having the fullback, having the tight ends, even just practicing against it. And we practice against it every week, you know. I think it just hardens your team. I mean, it's really, there's not many teams that have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. Indiana does. And because I believe if your defense, all they do is defend the spread all day, every day in practice, when you face a tough team, and make no mistake now, Rutgers, Greg Schiano, Brett Bielema, those are tough people. And those are tough. We faced 3 straight teams with a defensive coordinator as a head coach. Like, you know, they're going to run the ball and they're going to grind you and you're going to be physical. But if your defense never sees it till game day or with the scout team, it's really hard to be a physical defense, right? So I feel bad for some of these guys, these defensive coordinators, they go play for an offensive head coach who's a play caller, and some guys can do it. And they get fired. And everyone's like, he can't coach. Well, you're not getting hardened, right? You're not getting, if you play in this program, you know, we might not ever beat, you know, top 10 in passing, you know, like, but we're going to run power and we're going to run duo and we're going to run counter, and you're going to see those things in practice. And so when you get to the game, it's never really a shock. And so, but yes, to your point, I think one of our major emphases this, you know, moving forward is just getting a little bit better in the run game, you know, fixing some of those things on special teams. We're making a lot of good plays on special teams, but the catastrophic plays are killing us. And, you know, trying to fix 1 or 2 of those things and see if we can be a better team.
On Saturday in college football, where clock management just became a topic of discussion. In one case, for an early game, a player could have gone down in bounds and ended the game essentially, but scored a touchdown. And then there was the USC game, the clock there. Obviously, at the end of the Ohio State-Oregon game, how do you look at clock management? Do you have a guru that helps you with that? Like, how do you navigate that? And has the philosophy around clock management changed?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say about clock management is just like we study it every week. We study every decision that was made. Sometimes the guys on TV, with all due respect to them, haven't done that. And they'll say, like, what? Like, I remember we were playing the Packers and we were down by 11, and we went down and on second down, we kicked the field goal before the 2-minute warning, kicked it off. And I'm getting killed by the announcers. Just killed. Like, why would they do that? Meanwhile, the analytics community is like, this is brilliant. Finally, someone did this. Like, we kicked the ball through the end zone. Now with 2:06, they have the ball left. So it's like, you have to be careful what is bad clock management, right? And then you look at actual good clock management. Part of it is, do the coaches make the right decisions? And then do the players make the right decisions? Because, like, sometimes it's like, hey, we're going to run this play. You know, you got 6 seconds. Hey, get down. We have a timeout. Sometimes the things people don't even recognize, like at the end of the game on third down, Dylan rolled left to try to throw the ball to Jacory on third down, and he wasn't there. And so instead of throwing away, he took a sack. Now, it's a minus 16-yard sack. You don't really want that. But that's us saying, hey, if it's there, throw it. If not, take a knee. So the clock runs. They have to use a timeout. So it's all these little things sometimes that I don't think show up. But, yeah, Sean Patton, I had a guy at Carolina, Taylor Rajak, who was really, really excellent and really helped me learn a lot of like things as it relates to the 2-minute warning. And then that process now, we use two outside services to help us. And then Sean puts together a tape every week. We show a tape to the guys every Thursday. Don't be dumb, and just showing like, hey, mistakes made throughout the week. And then I watch all the decisions people are making, right? And so sometimes I just say, you have to be careful. Like sometimes people will say like, oh, they should have used their timeouts there. Well, right as the clock's running down to the 2-minute warning and you're behind, you can either use your timeouts before the 2-minute warning, or you can wait till the 2-minute warning and use them after. And there's merit for both. I just think, Sam, as long as you have a philosophy of this is why we do this, you know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes it's as simple as, oh, we can stop these guys, or man, we're struggling to stop these guys right now. Like those are two different things that, like I go back to the Illinois game. Like a lot of people ask me like, why did you call timeouts when they had to punt, but then not run a play? Well, I wasn't going to run a play from the 12. My hope was that the punt return would go in the end zone. We get the ball at the 25-yard line with 30 seconds, and hey, Dylan, let's go, right? But two drives before the ball. So it's all these little things that come into it. I think the best thing you can do is have a philosophy. And I like this stuff. That's why I talk so much about it, because this is, to me, is real football. Like, I like this, but I also think it's what do your players understand? Because in that situation, Dylan takes a sack. It looks ugly, but it's the right thing to do. Against UTEP, he throws the ball in the end zone with 8 seconds left, and we catch it with 1 second, so we would have had time to call timeout if it was in bounds. I think you have to prepare them. But as the season goes on, man, it's like you can't rep every situation every week. And so hopefully your guys have been schooled and taught. We had a bad play last week against Rutgers where we ran out of bounds on 3rd and 22, right? And that's not on that player. That was 100% on me not making the communication of, hey, this is, we call a certain word, like, hey, stay in bounds. So I think it's real football. That's the great thing about the 2-minute timeout coming to college. The extra timeout adds all these layers of decision making that you have to make, right? It used to be really simple. Now it's way harder, in my opinion, which is good. And I could talk. I like reading about it. There's podcasts I listen to about it. It's pretty cool stuff.
Is Dylan sort of built that way like you? Have you found that he's ahead of the curve and sort of diving in deep into the clock management stuff and all those?
Yeah, Dylan dives into everything, bro. Dylan woke me up in my office this morning. He like came in and banged, and I woke up like that's him. Like, he's here first thing in the morning. He's texting me. He's going away this week, and he's on the plane. He's like, hey, can you watch UCLA? He's watching the tape on the plane. Can you watch UCLA play 24? Like, he's just a whole other level. But at the end of the day, it just still comes down to being in the moment. And that's the hardest thing for all of us, right? Like, how often are you guys like watching a TV show, but also have your phone out? Like, I have it all the time. It's a bad habit. Like, being in the moment. And so in the moment, anticipating it and then making the right decision, that's the secret sauce. And it's the difference between winning and losing, especially for a ball club like us, that everything's going to be close.
Fall asleep in your office?
Yeah, I went home and then couldn't sleep, so came back early. And the Garrett McGuires, the Corey, they come in at 4:30 and work out. I come in at 4:30 and watch film and just fell asleep. That's all.
Can you speak to follow up on that question about Dylan, about the areas of what you've seen as far as him with his growth in areas away from what we see in 60 minutes of him playing?
You're saying, I'm sorry.
Can you? Around the team?
Oh, I think his leadership and just the touch points he does in terms of getting around the guys. I think the confidence he has brought to guys, the belief, I think, just something as simple as like Jacory's a young player. We're asking to play 3 different positions, and just him constantly getting with him and talking to him. I think those things are really good areas that he's been excellent at and improved at. I think he's done a great job. When you're that talented and you're having that much success, there's always going to be a ton of voices, saying, hey, you should do this, you should do that. And he's just very focused on like, this is what I'm being asked to do here. I've been really, really pleased with all those things. And I think he's really good about, every week he tries to find 3 things to improve upon. And I always tell him, like, after every game, write down how it felt while you were playing. And then write down after you watch tape, what you saw. Because sometimes those are 2 different things, right? Like, sometimes we see ghosts out there in terms of, man, they're doing this, and then you watch the tape and build off of that journal. And I think he's so self-aware, and he's not afraid to be like, a lot of guys, man, they do not seek correction, and he wants to get corrected. He wants to be better. And it's a lot of fun coaching guys like that.
How does that impact the rest of the cornerback position? Most importantly, C.R. Wright, given the way he's played the last few weeks.
Well, I mean, I think you're going to need every corner you got versus this outfit. I mean, they got great wideouts, and they've got great run after catch guys. They can go get the fade. They can. I mean, really, this quarterback is playing as well as any quarterback in the Big Ten when you watch him, if not the best. I mean, he sees the field. He knows what you're in. He gets to the right spot. So we'll probably need all those guys. Tony has different packages, but just even in the rotation, right? I mean, they scored 80 points in the fourth quarter. That's just fantastic. I mean, 80 points in the fourth quarter alone. I think it's like 80-17. They haven't given up a first quarter point, I don't believe. So excellent defense with tremendous edge rushers and dynamic offense. So, we'll probably need Sierra a lot. We'll need Tommy if he can go. Again, Tommy's still, I feel good about it, but it's not a done deal. Like, he's got to get through the whole week of practice. And last couple of weeks, I've told you I thought he was going to go. And just, for a corner, that's a tough injury now. To be, it's one thing to be a D lineman and play, 3/4 speed. It's another thing to be a corner.
Did you award any new black shirts over the bye week?
Yeah. Put Sierra in black. Because he's a starting corner right now. And the defensive guys came to me. They asked for Bushini to be in black. So we put Bushini in black.
Why did the defensive players want that? I assume they told you. Why did they want Bushini?
I think I think the way he's impacting the game defensively, right? I mean, I know I had talked to Jason Peter a couple of weeks ago and asked him how that worked. And he said, at the bowl game, those guys would always get it. And then I asked someone else and I think they said Coach Riley, Coach Callahan did it once with a punter in the middle of the season. So I was kind of like, all right, well, I'll just stick with tradition. But I just think it's when the players, when Marquise Buford texted me at home, is like, Coach, we need Bushini in the black. I thought that was a tremendous mess, whether it was the tackles at Purdue, or the game-saving tackles on the field goals, or just the punts he made last week. To get hit like that and come out there and not. Some guys get hurt and they come out and they finish the game. Like, he accelerated. So, but again, I did it because it was from the players. They feel like he's part of that unit. So let's roll.
How big was the bias for special teams to maybe kind of evaluate things closer and get things cleaned up?
Oh yeah, Coach Darlington was at practice. He had a folder for me. He was ready to rip me. I really take a lot of responsibility. I'm serious. Some of the coaches I take a lot of responsibility for some of the things, special teams wise. Just early in the year, trying to get some young kids, and just not putting enough of the guys who I know can make plays on the special teams, and whereas Ed's one of those guys, so just kind of reevaluating that and seeing, hey, who can go out there and make plays for us, and getting some other players on the team, and then just kind of seeing where we had never shown. We've never really been in this situation before. We've never had like blocks in the past, and so here we are, and we've got 5 block kicks this year. That's like heartbreaking, and so again, having a chance to go back and just study what we're doing, right? But to me, it's the same as in the run game. So my foot's cramping up, so forgive me. It's the same as the run game. Like, hey, what are we doing well? What are we not doing well that we should just get rid of or fix? And then, who are the guys who can make a play that we're not using, and just kind of really taking a deep dive at that. And, you hope that while we're in year 3 and year 4 and year 5, you have things established. In year 2, you're still sort of like, trying to figure out who can do what. I know that probably sounds hard for people to hear, but guys grow fast, they go quickly, they get better. So yeah, we're kind of, I would expect us to play way better on special teams moving forward. I'm excited for it. And, had I thrown that fake punt on the first play, maybe that game would have been different, right? We knew it was there. So maybe it's a lesson for me to be a little bit more aggressive early on. But we'll need to steal a possession against Indiana. There's too dynamic on offense. And so, how do you do that? Sometimes you run down and knock a ball out. Their punt returner is excellent. You go back and watch them at James Madison, they block a ton of kicks. So, I mean, they're going to come after us. We're going to need some guys to step up and play well.
Thank you.
So you guys have Valentinos this week?
All right. It's Matt Rhule.
Valentinos, huh? Well,
I saw you guys. Well, see you later. Sorry, my foot's cramping up.
Been standing up here for hours, you guys.
We have
been sleeping in my office.
So, okay, let's just recap this here for a few minutes, and then we'll take a mega break, and then we'll get to Schaefer.
Mega NIL break.
Mega NIL tournament break. All right. Here are some things to note. The thing that I went to first.
Let's see if our notes line up here.
So there's 2. I think. Well, there's more. He's good as always. All right, but here's why I went, because I'm interested in. I want a little heat to this game this week. All right. So you tell me how this is going to land in Indiana. If your defense, this is all paraphrasing because I can't type as fast as he talks. God, he talks fast. Such an East Coast, New York talker. Yeah. If your defense, all they do all day is defend a spread, it's going to be really hard against a physical defense. You play in this program, we might not be top 10 in passing, but when you get to the game, it's never a shock. He was talking about in the run game, how they need to get better and stuff like that. No more catastrophic plays on defense, no more catastrophic plays on special teams. But in there, he had that line about, hey, like sometimes when spread offenses play us, it's hard. That has bared to be true. Colorado twice.
That's right.
And I think this is probably a pretty good example of that. So we'll see. We'll see if Indiana's ready to take a little punch on Saturday. That's how it sounded to me anyway.
I would agree with that. Good assessment by you.
All right. How about this? Watching college football is hard now. There's too much trash talk, like excessive trash talk. I struggled with that. Every time a guy makes a play, he's got to turn and tell the other guy that he made a play. I want us to respect the game. I'm hoping that we play in a certain way. That's from Matt Rhule.
Oh, I believe he also said
I'll tell you what, man, he's right. I'm an old man as well. I'm with him. Why do we have to taunt every time?
So he's not wrong. After every incompletion, you will see the D-back go, huh!
Yeah, but it's gotten worse. It's not just that anymore. It's like they literally go up. Yeah, they sword them now, or they brandish their weapons. They go up to their faces and like yell at them. It's like, yeah. And you see it in the NFL too.
Yeah.
And then they stare at the sidelines. There's so much staring that's going on now in sports.
Staring in sports is huge.
It is a massive thing right now. He's right. I don't know. There's nothing that we could do about this. We've gone off the rails.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
Exactly. Juan Soto's fault. I'm blaming Juan Soto for all of our problems.
I believe he also said, trust me, I'm all for a little trash talk.
Yeah. Yep. And he is, as we've seen before.
Which
also
I'll be using for something.
I listen to podcasts about clock management. Where is the nearest clock management podcast?
It's hosted by Andy Reid. Remember, he was really bad at clock management.
Yeah.
Until he had Patrick Mahomes to win him Super Bowls.
It's interesting how that works. Mm-hmm. But he basically said, like, clock, it's like we have to have all these things prepared, but it's also very situational, right? That's the whole thing.
Right.
It's a situation. Situation alert. Dylon woke me up in my office this morning. I was taking a little nap after I got to work at 4:30, and then I fell asleep grinding tape, and Dylon came in, knocked on my door, and he asked if we could do this thing against Indiana or whatever it was. That.
I really appreciate, and I don't know who it was. Someone Mitch. Did ask the follow-up, you're sleeping in your office?
It was Mitch. So
thank you, Mitch.
Rule's like, yeah, I get to work at 4:30 and I watch tape, and some other guys, they come at 4:30 and they work out, but I was grinding too much tape and I fell asleep. And Dylon had to come and wake me up. New black shirts, Sierra Wright and Brian Buschini.
The punter?
That's right. I'm cool with that. He helps out the defense in a massive way.
That's right.
Also love, and if anybody knows George Darlington or sits up in the press box on Saturdays at Memorial Stadium, they know Coach, and they sit near Coach, and they can hear Coach's takes about a variety of things and what he thinks should happen to various people when Nebraska screws up royally in football games. So it's not surprising to hear Matt Rhule say that Coach Darlington showed up and had a folder ready to present to him about all the things that he did bad in special teams.
Now's my time.
Also, my foot is cramping up. Goodbye.
Valentino's,
huh? He also did a little nod to I thought this was a direct comment on in the nature in which people are reacting to this weekend in college football. What happened in the Big Ten? Hey, Wisconsin beat Rutgers 42-7. We only beat them 14-7. What the F? What's up with that? Iowa, that game looks tough now, and Illinois, whatever. But like specifically, people looked at that Wisconsin game and they said, "Oh boy, what's wrong?" What's wrong with us? Or is Wisconsin a wagon? And he said it was hard to throw. People don't understand. Like, it was hard to throw the ball against Rutgers. It was hard. And then he said, when a good year going forward in college football, it's kind of going to be like the NFL, 8-4, 9-3. There's time zones. He said all of it is really interesting. He said the Big Ten is going to be like the NFL. So you got to find it. You got to learn how to win, as they say, Josh.
Oh,
you know how much I love that phrase.
You do. Big fan. Big fan.
Anything else notable to you? We're going to have to pull a couple of those clips for tomorrow to use.
Wow.
There was some good stuff in there. Oh, guys, first time being the underdog this year. He says, I much prefer that.
I like this.
I love turning on game day and seeing them pick the other team. That's kind of who we are. And he was about to say something else, but then he was just like, yeah, we are who we are.
So he, I believe the why came out when he was talking about Dylan and his sleeping in his office, but he looked and sounded tired and drained and things like that.
Good. I want my coach sick and tired.
Grinding.
I don't want him fresh.
That's right.
I want my coach sick and tired at all times. Being healthy is for July.
A little cranky.
Go to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Eric writes in, I think this is about the trash talk stuff. Eric says, it's just a mindset thing. They have to wear ski masks now so they look scary. Yeah, you're seeing that a little bit too. Yeah. Guys got their faces painted. The eye black is everywhere.
Yeah, they're wearing not a ski mask, but it's like the
little hood thing.
Yeah. In the 90-degree heat, like
sleeves, tape, stuff like that.
Spatting everywhere.
Hey, I tell you what, I knew that I wasn't going to get on the field when I played football, so it was my sole mission to make myself look really cool. So if I had the ability to make myself look cool while playing football, and I was actually good at football, like I'd be taking that opportunity. But to a not that far, probably. I probably wouldn't wear a hood on a 90-degree day.
Nah.
But different strokes for different folks, I suppose. Oh, good one. Oh, good. This is a really good one. I'm surprised Rhule didn't comment on this. Platcat writes in.
Hi, Platcat.
What's up with the mouthpieces? The green mouthpieces. Have you seen this?
The green mouthpieces?
So dudes are wearing mouthpieces. And first of all, they're attaching them. So it was a trend for a long time. Like when I was growing up in like playing middle school football, they would give you the mouthpiece and you would dump it in the water and you would have to mold it and all that stuff. You still have to do that, but it was attached to your face mask. So you didn't spit it out and lose it.
Right.
It was attached. It was tied to your face mask. So that has made a comeback now. After a certain point, it was just the mouthpiece. Like, you pull it, you have to physically pull it out of your mouth instead of just spitting it out and it hangs on your face mask. But now, not only are the face masks or the mouthpieces being attached to the helmets again, they're also another mouthpiece that is stuck in your head.
Yep.
And it flops around everywhere and it is green.
2 mouthpieces.
What, and it never comes out of your head.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of cases, the mouth guard that is attached to your face mask is not in your mouth.
That's right.
There's just mouthpieces flopping around all the time.
Nothing in football bothers my wife more than a person who A, has 2 mouth guards and B, uses none of them.
What is happening?
I don't know.
Sal says, why stop at 2?
Great.
Why not 3?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the first guy to have 8 mouthpieces while he tries to play football? And none of them are in his mouth.
I thought who you may remember this. Who was the one guy who had the spinner mouth guard?
Oh yeah, a lot of dudes ended up having that.
I thought that was going to become like the big accessory.
It had a couple years probably.
I was like, oh my gosh, every time he breathes, it spins.
Yeah, that was cool. I'll admit it on that one. That one was cool. Eric says, yeah, that's just a defensive back thing. They don't even use the mouthpiece. It is.
That's right.
What's up with those defensive backs?
They're built different.
What's going on in those guys' heads? I have no idea. But yeah, a lot going on. Kent says regarding mouthpieces, per my 14-year-old. So Kent has asked.
Okay.
Here's why they're wearing so many mouthpieces. NIL and drip. That's the answer.
That tracks. Actually.
It's not drip when your mouthpieces are flying around everywhere while you're trying to run. If you don't want to put a mouthpiece in your mouth, fine. Apparently, you're allowed to do that. You don't have to put it in your mouth. Like the ref, I remember when I was playing, the ref would tell me to put it back, to put the mouthpiece in my mouth.
Just take an extra special care of you.
Right. But they would tell everybody this. Like, your mouthpiece has to be in your mouth in order, or otherwise we're just not going to play football. You have to put the mouthpiece in your mouth. Your teeth will get exploded. Now they don't have to. So I would just not wear one. I would just not have one.
What's with Patrick Mahomes and this tiny mouth guard that he has?
Well, Raiola has that too.
Yeah. Well, of course. Just super, like, it
Because I spit hot fire.
Doesn't look like it protects anything.
Yep. It looks like Invisalign.
Yeah.
Josh, I had some news for you before we take our final time out of the hour.
Oh, Connor.
Are you ready to hear your fate?
Okay, do it.
Nebraska, Ohio State, October 26th, will kick off at noon Eastern with Fox broadcasting to a national television audience. That's right, Maserati Bob. He is back. Analytics. Upset of the century, Josh. Big noon for Nebraska and Ohio State.
Now, this coward Gus Johnson was in Provo for a 2:30 game.
Yeah, no, you can't take him that Kinnick.
I'm not going there.
I'm not going.
I'd rather
let Brock Heward do it.
I'd rather go to Provo.
Let Benetti and Brock Heward do it. I'm not going out there. That's right. It is big noon kickoff. Jayskers rejoice.
We did it. Hang the banner.
And produce and program directors at 1620 The Zone also rejoice. Oh no. Oh, Josh is taunting. He's taunting the television makers now. Yeah. All right, we'll have a full day of we'll have Big Red overreaction after the game and go straight into Blue Jay pregame for Creighton and Purdue. That's in 12 days. Back after this with Mike Schaefer on 1620 The Zone.
Here come the Guardians.
Yeah, I have statistics to back up that we have people that listen.
Mike Schaefer.
Anytime there's sort of a debate as to who can do something, Happer would always put his name forth, for sure.
Husker 24/7 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
I could be a star.
People are wondering if it's the year of Mike Schaefer. He welcomed his child to the world. The Vikings are good. The Guardians are in the ALCS. I guess fate will decide. The ALCS will decide if it's really Mike Schaefer's year or not as he joins us now on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Hi, Schaefer.
Hello. Don't forget that I also got to see, Nebraska basketball with a pair of wins against top 10 teams, including a number 1 at home.
They made the NCAA tournament. People forget.
Tournament.
Yeah.
They made the tournament. The baseball team won the Big Ten tournament. Made the NCAA baseball tournament. Was at least respectable until running into your Jack Caglianone. I just tried to. Jackley is what I'm going to call
Jackley. I like it. Yeah, he's ripping up in the Arizona Fall League right now. By the way, but not that anybody was wondering.
Pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
Swing and miss, but he's going to be pretty good. So it's been a good sports year all the way around. Nebraska's 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
The Vikings are the worst team in the NFC North. I've learned by listening to various podcasts because they did not play this week. They didn't get the chance to play the Jaguars or the Cowboys or the Cardinals, so they're no longer good anymore. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But and then the Yankees are expected to just play the Dodgers in the World Series. And we don't even need to play the game, according to one Alex Rodriguez.
So I would imagine with the success of your teams that you do find yourself taking in some more national perspectives, whether it's from podcasts or TV shows. And then you find that you just get triggered by listening to and watching those things because nobody believes in your team nationally. So then it turns into like a, Schaefer against the world type of thing, which I very much enjoy that position.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that just fascinates me. Like, Cleveland has played the Yankees in the playoffs. Now, this will be the 7th series in my lifetime. They beat them several times. Every series, even the one where the Yankees swept in 2020, where the 2-0, every series has been close. I mean, these games are almost always close. They're almost always good. There's almost always big moments involved. But because it's the Yankees, you're just expected to believe that they are so much better.
They're not.
Than your team. And you would think that even after they had only won 94 games this year, they played against the Royals in which they didn't win a game by more than 2 runs. Judge continues to just not show up in October. You would think it'd be like, oh man, maybe we should let the games actually play out. I think the Yankees are the better team. I think there's probably like a 55-45 split of them winning this series. But it just fascinates me that because it's the Yankees, who again haven't been to the World Series in 20 years, have lost multiple ALCSs, have no-showed on the big stage multiple times in 2 decades. But because it's the Yankees, we're just required to believe that they're this monster. On the other side of it, you could be the Dodgers, where we have ESPN reporters writing weepy reports about how they're overcoming their just massive, horrible roster. They're overcoming the loss of Freddie Freeman. They didn't have Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
They didn't have Miguel Rojas, Connor. How did the Dodgers, with Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts and Teoscar Hernandez hitting 1 through 3, and Max Muncy, who hates anyone having fun at all on a baseball diamond?
He does.
How did these Dodgers manage to get by the Padres? I'll never know. I'll never understand.
It's a great story.
Could they have had a pitcher that they signed for $1 bajillion come throw Game 5 for him? Could it be that Jack Flaherty, who they traded for from the Tigers, was fantastic for him? I don't know how the Dodgers do it. I have no understanding of it.
What a story! What a story! I mean, I can't wait till
underdog.
Yeah, I mean, plucky group out there. Yeah, I'm hoping just to. I don't know what the better World Series is. Like if the Yankees are going to make it. I don't know what I want more, like Yankees Mets or Yankees Dodgers, but so I'm rooting for the Guardians and probably the Mets just so we could get the worst television World Series possible and the worst narrative World Series possible. So I'm here for you, Schaefer.
Obviously would like the Guardians, and I would like the Mets in large part because the idea of Francisco Lindor versus the Guardians for their first World Series would be delicious on a lot of levels to me personally. But nobody else cares about any of this. They want Indiana talk.
No, well, first we have one more step to hit. What's in your crock pot today?
Yeah, we're going to go back to the pasta world, and we're throwing in a couple chicken breasts, and then we are combining. And if you've never done this, I promise it's very good. We are combining marinara and Alfredo. You combine those two sauces, it makes this delightful pink sauce. So that's going to be kind of the base of everything, and then a bunch of seasoning. Let that cook for like 6 hours, shred it all up, cook up a bunch of pasta, throw the pasta in there this time and let it sit for a little while, throw some more cheese on top, and it just is going to be fantastic.
Just a big old pasta feed at the Schaefer house.
Yeah, just like just the name of it is just like creamy chicken slow cooker pasta.
I was going to say, usually
very
when
simple.
they make those crock pot recipes and you find them on like Facebook or somewhere in some corner of the internet that I'm like, how did I get here? Usually the word dump is in them, and then that makes me go away from them. Like if it says crock pot dump or like pasta dump, I'm like, I got to find a different recipe.
You just need to not let the word bother you as much.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't like the idea of just dumping stuff in something and then coming back 8 hours later and it being, I don't know, maybe it's good. Maybe I should only care about the final result, but I'm a big process guy.
I think if you just change the word dump to casserole, which is the same idea, then
Makes
you're
it
not
better.
as freaked out about it. For instance, next week, not to get too far ahead, but
Yeah.
I'm eyeing an enchilada casserole recipe that has me very excited.
Okay. We will check on that one in 7 days here, Schaefer. I can't wait to ask you that question. Okay, so Indiana Talk will give the people what they want as I'm watching Kurt Cignetti right now on the Big Ten Network do his press conference. Indiana is the story this week. It's the location for big noon kickoff on Saturday. Rhule touched on this a little bit just a few minutes ago and said, I like the spot that they're in. It's the first time being the underdog. How do you feel like Nebraska plays in this spot in compared to how they've done in their first 6 games where they've been favorites and in most cases heavy favorites in all of them?
Yeah, I like this spot as well for Nebraska. I think the attention is largely going to be on Indiana from a national level. They're going to kind of have to deal with sort of having expectations and fans and people to let down for the first time in probably 3 or 4 years. 2020, and you couldn't have fans. So, I mean, it's an interesting switch where, I feel like a lot of the pressure just sort of is going to be on Indiana. It's being talked about as a fringe college football playoff team in some circles. So I kind of like how that sets up for Nebraska from a motivational standpoint. I think Matt Rhule will be able to utilize that. As far as the game, I'm really curious how Indiana handle Nebraska's front seven. I think the biggest part of this game is what happens in the trenches on both sides of the ball, but in particular, how Nebraska's defensive front can make life difficult for Curtis Rourke or Tyson Lawton, the running back and quarterback for Indiana. They're probably their 2 best players. They have a good offense. They have a really interesting RPO offense. Nebraska hasn't faced anything quite like that. And yet, I don't know that Indiana has faced a defense anywhere near the level of what Nebraska has played.
No. 5
of their 6 games so far this season. So there's a lot of questions, and that kind of makes for, what could be kind of a high-tension first quarter. If Curtis Rourke was out there and it looks kind of like what it did for Shedeur Sanders, where your offensive line is a bit of a sieve because they haven't faced this level of pressure, how does he respond to that? I mean, so there's going to be a really interesting, how things sort of play out. I think it's better for Nebraska in a weird way that this game is on the road. So you don't have all of the pomp and circumstance of the home game on top of it. Like you can just kind of zero in focus. I think it's better for Nebraska. You're playing right away at 11 in the morning. You don't have to sit around and think about it all day. So, if they can, and this is a big if they can start off the game without the slow kind of usual start we see with the 11 a.m. kicks, I think that could be a big boon for Nebraska as well. I just like the spot for them.
I would too.
Nobody wants my gambling advice, but I would take the points for sure.
Well, they were 3.5 point underdogs, and now they're 6.5 point underdogs, and neither of them played. I don't know what that is.
Well, I don't know. Maybe people have just watched Nebraska special teams on a loop. I couldn't tell you.
Maybe they're really buying into Indiana, and that's kind of maybe that's kind of artificially moved up just to see how high it can go. I wonder. Rhule made a point. You were talking about Nebraska's defense against Indiana's offense, and obviously that's sort of the key one with how good that they've been and how good Nebraska's defense is. Rhule said something today to the effect of, "Hey, when you are a defense and all you do all day long is defend spread in practice, it's really hard to be a physical defense." And he made some comment to the effect that, hey, Nebraska, plays against a physical team every single day. I think that wasn't pointed specifically at Indiana, but that has bared out over the last couple of years when they've played these kind of wide open, spreadier teams, and I think that's kind of what they're hoping on Saturday.
Well, yeah, I think the idea is that if Nebraska can make this a phone booth game, that they're better off for it. And that was the argument even against Rutgers, who also, theoretically wants to play a phone booth game. Nebraska just felt like they were better at doing that. And I think they proved that they were. Rutgers showed what they did against Wisconsin, and we can all decide whether Nebraska should have performed better than they did or not. But I just think the style that Nebraska has is they want to play bully football, and Indiana hasn't played that at all. I mean, the most physical team they've likely played is either a tie between Northwestern, who's okay. I mean, they took it to Maryland certainly on Friday night, or UCLA, who I think is outright bad, and I have as the worst team in the Big Ten this year. So, it's either UCLA or Purdue, and I just don't know how Indiana responds to that. And a lot of it's going to be on how Nebraska plays. The second and third level have to play well. They have to be able to handle the RPO and the play action better than they did against Illinois. I think Nebraska can let their coverage play a little bit differently, especially if you have both Tommy Hill and Tia Wright. I'm fascinated what that secondary picture could look like if Hill is back and how they might deploy all of this. And then, Javen Wright is going to be back and playing for you. So you have another athlete on that second level, in addition to John Bullock and Mekhi Bayer. You can do some different things there. We've seen that when Nebraska is able to straight pass rush, James Williams can be an effective player for you. A lot of it, the recipe for Nebraska, a lot of it is to try to get that lead and make teams have to play from behind against a defense that's better when you're having to throw.
Yep.
So there's a lot of pathway for the game flow to look how Nebraska wants, but it starts with them they have to show up early. They can't feel their way into this game like they did against Purdue.
Is this the position for Nebraska's offense to finally maybe get something going on the ground? Indiana's defense, I mean, they've passed their tests so far. I don't think that anybody would tell you that that's on the matinee or of the on the marquee, I guess, of what they're doing this year. It's their offense. But is this a spot where Nebraska's offense can get some things done on the ground? And they'll need to, because they need to extend drives. That's going to be part of their formula on Saturday. By the way, just quick thing. I love that we're talking this deeply about the game on Monday. This is I have heart eyes emojis right now.
Yeah, I mean, I am of the opinion Nebraska's run game kind of is what it is. I don't know, Rhule said this today. It was one of the things I wrote was they went into the bye week. Their lack of explosive run plays is super notable. I mean, you have some gadget plays with Ja'Cory Barney, but you don't have a lot of runs where it's just able to get the ball to Dante Dowdell or Emmett Johnson, and then you're picking up even like 12-yard chunks a few times a game. Like it seems like running the ball is a little bit too hard for them. So how do they figure that out when you don't have the quarterback run game? And I think they've really struggled with answering that question. So, teams have loaded the box against them. They're not able to get a good enough push up front. It doesn't feel like they get guys that can move off of the first block to the second. So you're not able to pick up anybody at the second level, which tamps your ability to get some of those explosive runs. I don't know how that's going to get a lot better. I don't think Indiana is going to be a super stout run defense, but some of the teams that they played this year haven't been either. And they just
that's true.
They played numbers, and those numbers, have allowed them to really slow down Nebraska's running game. I also, we had this conversation all throughout the summer. none of these running backs are special in that they can just make things happen by themselves. They all need to have things sort of work out where things get blocked up well enough. Maybe they shake a tackle here or two. They don't have home run, like neither Dowdell or Emmett Johnson are home run hitters. Emmett missed 2 gigantic holes against Rutgers in that final drive where you wouldn't even be giving him back the ball if he had, saw what was out there or what was there. And I think he's the running back with better vision between he and Dowdell. So it's just it's just hard to see why it's going to be that much better in the second half of the season. I think they have to throw to open up the run.
Yeah.
And that puts a lot of pressure on your quarterback.
I'll tell you what, though, they changed the they changed the sort of cadence of things against Rutgers. They gave Emmett Johnson an earlier look, and I don't think that helped out either of those two guys. If we're talking about Johnson and Dowdell, I thought they found a pretty good rhythm with Dowdell. As annoying as it is, I think for Husker fans who were watching the game, they're like, man, I can't watch Dowdell just run into people any longer. It admittedly has to help Emmett Johnson later in the games crease some runs or make an extra cut and be successful in those third and fourth quarter runs. Like I thought that was a pretty good look, and I think they should go back to that.
Well, and they might. I mean, this would be a game where it seems like in your head, if you're thinking Indiana is, a little bit smaller in terms of size and not going to be as effective in the middle of a defense, this is a game where you would feel like a Dante Dowdell and just the, blow after blow after blow should be able to open up longer runs. We just really haven't seen that happen. I mean, his best game this year is still Colorado, and that was like a 55-yard performance. So I'm just a little skeptical that there's a best version of this run game that's significantly better than where we're at, unless guys start not missing holes and holes start getting created a little bit more. I mean, even with Dowdell, it's not like he breaks a bunch of tackles. He just kind of like plows forward and usually falls forward. I would like to see Ramir Johnson involved more, but really what I want to see, Happer, I want to see more screen game. I want to see them figure out how to create a running game, your passing game, even on some of these short passes. And I think a lot of what they have to do are fake jet sweeps and pop passes and things like that, and then come back to it after you set it up enough times. It puts a lot of pressure on Marcus Satterfield to have a good finger on his pulse of what's working, and for their analysts to kind of have an idea of where Indiana can be attacked.
Yep. Mike Schaefer, Husker 247. Okay, Schaefer, enjoy your night tonight. Be thankful that Bob Costas is not doing the game for TBS.
It's so great.
Yeah.
It had to have been so infuriating. I only was listening to bits and pieces, and it was awful. I can't imagine 4 games of it.
I was trying to not, because, I like to watch the playoff game by myself and, just quiet and dark. And I like to not see what else is going on like too much, but it was hard to not take my frustration, and they weren't scoring any runs either. It was a tough week last week. That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it's not made better by a guy who just waxes poetically about things you don't care about 70 years ago.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So be thankful you got Brian Anderson and you got Alex Cobb tonight. And don't let Carlos Rodon stick his tongue out at you too much.
Well, I hope that he gets to meet Lane Thomas early in that game in a critical situation. That's what I want. I want to see Lane go deep on him too.
All right, Schaefer. Enjoy. See you later.
See you guys.
Mike Schaefer, Husker 247. With game 1 tonight in the ALCS at 6:38. Game 2 of the NLCS, which is also on the West Coast, will be the early game. How much does Major League Baseball like the Yankees? Exactly that much.
Seems like a lot. Yeah.
Even though they're the New York markets, nope, it's the Yankees. That game will start at what? 1:00 West Coast time.
That's right.
That's a 1:00 NLCS game.
Today is a holiday, Connor. Many people will be going to the NLCS because they are off work. It's not a problem.
Including the stars.
That's right.
The superstars with their blank shirts.
Where's Mary Hart, by the way?
All of the what is up? So they do this when they go to LA and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They show all the seats right next to home plate and they show all the stars. Do any of them actually like baseball? Do they care about sports at all?
I don't think so.
They show up to the games like they've been handcuffed and taken to the game against their will. They're wearing just a shirt. Jason Bateman, he's just wearing a shirt. He's not a Dodgers fan. You would have, if you saw that guy out of context of the rest of whatever thing else, whatever was going else out around him. Sorry, I can't talk today. You'd be like, he's not at a baseball game. He's at the grocery store. Who are the other stars? I saw the clip last night of all the stars that they were showing on the television.
I don't remember. I wasn't terribly plugged into that game once it got out of hand, which was.
It was like
early.
the stars are out in in LA tonight, and it was like Fox Sports baseball, and I saw the clip going around yesterday, and I got really triggered because I get triggered over this. None of the quote unquote movie stars were wearing any sort of thing that would make you think that they're a baseball fan, except for, as Josh has brought to my attention, the two stars of Kangaroo Jack, Jerry O'Connell and Anthony Anderson, went to the game, took a selfie, looked happy.
Both skinnier than you remember them.
Both wearing Dodgers uniforms.
That's right.
Last time I saw Anthony Anderson was the last time that I watched The Departed, because he showed up in that movie too.
Did he?
Yeah, he had to. He was in the police. He was in the police department.
Yeah.
He was the guy who came up at the end when Leo and Matt Damon, and then, spoiler alert.
Good pull.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Leo ended up, he did. He got shot.
He's telling Billy while he signed up for the police while jogging for a police training exercise. So she tells me, you never finish anything. You finish the police course, you get taken care of again, baby. So after graduation, I get things I can't say on the radio again.
That was Anthony Anderson's line in that movie.
Yeah.
He had a couple more. Remember, he was in the important scene at the end where they're on the roof.
Put down the gun and step away
That's
from
it.
Sergeant Sullivan.
That's it. Put down the gun and step away from Sergeant Sullivan.
I called you specifically. You know who I am.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shoot. I told you to meet me downstairs.
That was Leo.
Yeah.
That was Leo.
Billy Costigan.
Yeah. It didn't work out for Leo. Didn't work out for Matt Damon either, for the record.
Spoiler alert.
9 years ago today, Jose Bautista had a bat flip.
Oh, for the ages.
For the ages. He tossed that sucker. Bat flips were never the same after that.
And then he got punched in the face.
That was later, yeah. Also in college football, just before we take a break here, Cam Rising is out indefinitely for Utah. Will he seek an 8th year of eligibility?
He has the right, it is being reported.
He has the right? What does that mean?
It means
he
can.
He has the right to seek it?
Well, yeah, he can come back if he so chooses.
No, he can't. You have to get the waiver for it.
Well,
he can ask for the waiver.
Yes.
He has the right to ask for the waiver.
Yes.
That's right. He doesn't have the ability to actually come back yet.
And he was asked about this.
But the NCAA, they're giving everybody waivers.
Yeah, he asked about this at Big 12 Media Days before the season. Would you come back for an 8th year if it came down to it?
Yeah.
And he said, that's not the plan. 7 years is far too much.
Well, situations change. Situations change. Okay. Many things to discuss. I love the conversation there with Schaefer about Nebraska's run game. We can discuss that. We'll also talk about it with Sam McKewon coming up at the top of the hour. Also, I'd like to check in on the event that took place at the Iowa football game. That's the Big Ten game we haven't talked about yet.
Many are talking about it.
Iowa, Washington. People are now very scared of Iowa.
Big bad bully, Iowa. Not your older brother's Iowa.
Coming up on 1620 The Zone.
He does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
We did get the full kick time network designations for week 9. That is 12 days from today. Or 11, of course, if you are Rutgers or USC. You know Rutgers and USC, Josh? They're going to play next Friday, the 25th, at 11 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. That's the sickos game of the century. 11 p.m. Eastern.
Hell yeah.
That's 10 o'clock Central. That's later than the Miami Cal game started. That's later than the K-State Colorado game started. If you'd like to watch football Friday night at 1 a.m., it's going to be there for you. You can watch it.
That's such a Saturday move. Why are we doing this on a Friday? Because it's after baseball, right?
Yeah, I would assume that's
after
why.
the game
Yeah.
tonight. Stay tuned or more sports.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So elsewhere on that day. So this is where, next week is one of the weeks where the Big Ten is like, hell yeah, I'm so glad we did this with all these TV partners because they have a lot of places to put their games. And in fact, it's like there's too many games for the amount of inventory, the amount of space that they have. So Nebraska and Ohio, the three main slots are Big Noon, 2:30 CBS, and then nighttime NBC. Nebraska, Ohio State is the Big Noon game next week. Illinois, Oregon is the 2:30 game on CBS, and Penn State, Wisconsin is the nighttime NBC game.
Nighttime at Camp Randall.
But then there's 2 to 3 other games of interest. So defending national runner-up Washington will go to potentially undefeated Indiana.
Nah, come on.
And they're going to play that game at 11 o'clock Central on the Big Ten Network.
Hello.
That could be the bigger game.
Good get.
Than Nebraska, Ohio State. Yeah. And then you have Michigan State, which is always a network game.
Mm-hmm.
And always something weird happens in that game.
Remember the punt?
Sean McDonough. Yes, I do. That game will be at 6:30 on the BTN. Iowa will play Northwestern at 2:30 on the BTN.
Wow.
Maryland, Minnesota is a game that week. That will happen at 2:30 on the FS1. So BTN is the big winner here.
Really is, yeah.
BTN's got a full day of pretty watchable games. Good job by them. And shout out once again to this conference for doing your due diligence and saying the brands win. Nebraska and Ohio State. Big Noon.
Ugh. Hell yeah.
Good job.
I didn't think they pulled the trigger.
No, I didn't think they would either.
Here we are.
Speaking of Iowa, let's go to Iowa over the weekend. Iowa had a lovely, lovely win against Washington.
Yeah.
There was also a take that we got about Iowa that I'd like to discuss after this as well.
Oh.
But let's take a peek over at the Hawkeye radio network. There's a point in the game where there was a kickoff, and clearly on the broadcast, as the ball flew out of the back of the end zone, a little windy in Iowa City, a man in the front row was hit in the face. I mean, just clear as day. There was no getting around it. Guy got hit in the face. And so the Hawkeye radio network did their due diligence, and they caught up with the guy. Here's how it sounded on, once again, the Hawkeye radio network.
We go to Garrett Alford.
Joe, what the heck happened?
So I seen the kickoff, and the ball was coming real fast, and I knew it was going over the end zone, and I knew it was coming right at me. So I put my hands up. But that ball's going a lot faster than you really think it is. And it went right through my hands, and it hit me in the face.
But you popped right back up.
Yeah, that's what Hawkeyes do. We don't give up. We swarm. Ball's on the ground. We're there to get it. And I was just being a true Hawkeye fan and doing what we all love and being here on Kinnick on Saturday day. So go Hawks.
You're going to make it.
Oh, yeah, I'm not leaving. I'm going to be here all game cheering. Washington, they drove a long way. Good fans, good program, but it's all about Hawkeyes here in Iowa City. So
You got it, Joe. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Joe. Hey, Pat, he's after your job, I think.
He's doing a good job. He obviously wasn't a tight end at high school or a wideout. Joe Glazer from Des Moines, stand up and take a bow.
So there's like 6 drops in there, probably.
Incredible.
It hit me right in the face.
There, Saturday
Just
night.
went right through my hands, went right in my face.
You know, that's what Hawkeyes do. We don't lay it. We get up, we swarm.
He was getting ready to go, here on a Saturday night, because he was used to saying that it is Saturday day. Yep, they gave that guy the microphone, and he did a great job. That was magical. That was magical.
That was fun.
I'm
glad I held off listening to that until this very moment.
Yeah. Can we play it one more time? Because I just like it so much.
Sure.
Hopefully you didn't close it out yet.
No, I kept the tab open.
Right,
I never know what you're going to do.
Good job by you. Also, Joe, one quick thing. I have some local news here in just a moment. Let's play this again. First, I have to play this again first.
Wow, way to hold the audience.
Yeah, play this again first.
What the heck happened?
So I seen the kickoff, and the ball was coming real fast, and I knew it was going over the end zone, and I knew it was coming right at me. So I put my hands up. But that ball's going a lot faster than you really think it is. And it went right through my hands, and it hit me in the face.
But you popped right back up.
Yeah, that's what Hawkeyes do. You know, we don't give up. We swarm. Ball's on the ground. We're there to get it. And I was just being a true Hawkeye fan and doing what we all love and being here on Kinnick on Saturday day. So go Hawks.
So you're going to make it.
Oh, yeah, I'm not leaving. I'm going to be here all game cheering. Washington, they drove a long way. You know, good fans, good program, but it's all about Hawkeyes here in Iowa City. So
you got it, Joe. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Joe.
Okay.
Hey, Pat, he's after your job.
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks! Go Hawks! It's all about Hawks here in Iowa City.
That's what we do. We swarm.
Very close to having to bleep that city. Just really slurring your speech
Iowa
there.
City.
Sounds like a South Park bit.
So we're gonna go ahead and kind of does. We're gonna need Josh to just come through that a little bit later, maybe come up with the top 5 best parts of that audio.
I got some notes written down.
Yeah, go Hawks! Everybody's been there, right? The exponentially loud. Yeah, go Big Red. Okay. Yep.
We're at Costco. What are you doing?
I'm go Big Red. Charles writes in.
Hi, Charles.
How many bush lights? A lot of bush lights.
I'm betting double digits.
A lot of bush lights over there, no doubt. All right. So I got some news here from the Creighton Athletic Department. What? Creighton.
The Blue Jays?
Creighton women's basketball will be moving its game with Connecticut to the CHI Health Center on January 25th as part of a doubleheader with Blue Jay men's basketball. January 25th, Josh, is a Saturday. That is also the day of the Blue Jays Pink Out game.
Whoa.
The men play Seton Hall. So Creighton men are going to play at 12:30 on FS1, and then the women will play the Huskies of UConn after that on Fox. 4:30.
Paige Beckers.
The last time the women's team played in the CHI Health Center was December 3rd, 2021, when they beat Georgetown. Overall, the Creighton women are 1-2 in games at the CHI Health Center. Season ticket holders for women's basketball at DJ Sokol Arena will transfer their tickets into the lower bowl for the game with UConn on January 25th. Single game tickets will go on sale to the public on Wednesday. Yes.
The day after tomorrow.
But if you're a J backer, season ticket holders will get exclusive pre-sale access to purchase additional single game tickets.
I'm a J backer with my words and my time, not financially.
You back the Jays?
Yeah.
Not literally, but figuratively with your words.
Hurtin' Husker fan has a question. They'd like you to clarify something.
All right.
Wait, so the UConn game is on a Saturday day?
Hey, on a Saturday day.
Saturday day.
If that's a real question, I mean, what is 4:30? It'll be dark because it'll be January 25th.
Nightmarish hellscape that is winter.
We'll be in. It'll feel like you're sort of like in Alaska or Antarctica or something like that. But it's at 4:30, so whatever that means to you, you'll go in and there will be a little light in the sky. When you come out, it'll be very dark, very dark and very cold. Probably 4:30 that day on the 25th. Speaking of Creighton, Steve tweets in at Happer Show.
Hi, Steve.
Speaking of Iowa, this is speaking of Iowa. Sorry, are we going to get to that Caitlin Clark thing today? Interesting question.
Well, with this Creighton news, I don't know if there's going to be time. We're kind of running downhill already.
You just don't know if there's going to be time.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
We will get to it, though. I promise.
Yeah, we'll get to the Caitlin Clark thing. Don't worry.
We'd be
just good to be here on a Saturday night. That's what Hawks do. They swarm.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. Go Hawks. Yeah, just put my hands up. It just went through my hands, hit me right in the face.
Right in the face.
That guy, by the way, there's no way that guy has an accent when he's sober. All of a sudden, starts talking a little bit different when the bush lights are flowing pretty well.
You're
Great win by
Southern
Iowa.
when you drink.
Yeah. Great win by Iowa.
Absolutely.
Looked good. Iowa pulled Washington right into the Iowa trap. This is what the West Coast teams are going to have to get used to.
Yep.
You'll look at the box score afterwards and you'll say, what happened?
How does this equal 40-10?
I know Caleb Johnson was really good again and he ran for 166, but Iowa's quarterback was 8 of 14 for 108 yards and he didn't do anything.
That's not enough.
And Iowa says that's damn right.
Oh, excuse me, 40-16. Excuse me, Washington.
Kirk Ferentz got his 200th win on Saturday. All right, we'll be back. Round out the hour. Mike Schaefer has already joined. Sam McKewon will join coming up at 1. I'd like to remind you that 25K 4-quarter pick'em is open for you if you are a 1620 the email subscriber, of course. Should have got that email at 10. If you are not, then you'll have to wait till tomorrow. Somebody asked a question earlier, like, how often is the person actually gone 10-0?
All but one, right?
I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Good of you to ask it then.
Yeah. But they were wondering for their own planning purposes. I would just say plan on going 10-0.
Yes.
And you don't want to the worst possible scenario is to be in a situation where you are tied and then you didn't enter your picks until later. And so you get tie broke by that. That's nightmare fuel.
Mm-hmm. You're going to lie awake about that.
Yeah. So get in 1620thezone.com and register. You could win $2,500 this week, just as somebody did this past week, which we'll announce tomorrow. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hudson with you. Sam McKewon's going to join us in a few minutes. We'll ask what Nebraska needs to do against Indiana, and we'll see what they need to do in a more global sense in the final 6 games of the season. Also, Matt Rhule likes referring to teams as outfits. He did that twice in today's press conference.
They got a good outfit.
I think he's really just like me. He uses like one word excessively for like 2 days. It just goes on a kick.
And then never again.
And then never again. He'll never hear it again.
Mm-hmm.
He also referenced that kids are watching their anime today.
Yeah.
He's never sounded older.
Poll question up at Happer Show right now. Do all kids watch anime?
They're watching anime and they're taunting people. Let's take a phone call here on the 42 Degrees Source hotline. It's Random Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hey, I went to the red-white scrimmage yesterday. We had a really good time.
I need a full report. What did you see?
I've got a new love interest. Cam Kozo, I'm over you. It's Gavin Griffin.
Oh.
About him?
Well, I'm not really, other than his glasses.
Yeah, I mean, he looks the part. He's skinny, he's got glasses, and he was one of the top national recruits, top 40 or something national recruit, best player out of Connecticut, maybe one of the top recruits Rutgers ever had. And do you know the story of how we got him? It might be another piece of great fortune because this guy is super talented.
Not really. I don't. I mean,
so
other than he went into the transfer portal and he wanted a place to play, and it was Nebraska.
Yeah, and but he is really fun to watch, and he's an athlete. And if you read what Hoiberg said about him at the Big Ten media days and whatever, I mean, he loves him. And the point is, it was fun to watch because we got a lot of people that can play. I know how good we'll be, I don't know, but you got like 11, 12 players that can play, and the competition and the unselfishness. You know, if you watch Nebraska men's basketball over the years, it was just a whole lot of one-on-one and didn't seem to be really well organized and not making the extra pass. So this team will do it. So I'm really excited about it, and we're both excited about women's basketball, right?
Definitely, yes.
And okay, getting to football, isn't it open-ended? Like I could see. Remember last year, all we had to do was win 1 out of the last 4, and they were all winnable games. And now we got to win 1 out of the last 6.
That's right.
And I can see us winning most of them, and I can see us losing most of them. I mean, do you feel that way? It's really open-ended.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna go to a. I said this last year. They're going to a bowl game.
Yeah, we said that last year too, didn't we?
We did. I realize. I'll throw the prediction out there again. Nebraska's going to a bowl game, but I don't know. They are going to be in a bunch of close games. To your point.
But hey, we got Dylan Raiola, and I think having him. Did you notice when Coach was answering the question about Dylan? It's almost like he couldn't say enough great things about him. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, I think he has to like physically stop himself sometimes because the praise, he doesn't want the praise to sound like it's too much for him. Yeah, for sure.
And I'm going to disagree with you a little about Emmett Johnson. I want him to get the ball early in the game, not later after the other team's gotten quote beat up by our big guy. I think Emmett will make a recovery.
Yeah, I mean I think you still have the same, like it's not like one running back is so much better than the others right now. Like even if I think most people are, if they had to pick one, it would be Emmett. But I couldn't make the case that he's so much better than any of the other guys in the room right now to where they're going to still split carries. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. And what happened to the other of the 4 guys that were so close?
Gabe Ervin?
Yeah. What's the deal with him?
Yeah, just no real spot for him to get carries other than in goal line situations, basically.
But hey, to me, it's also open-ended, and it can be really great. And as far as the offense, what's wrong with being a West Coast offense? Because we got a quarterback that's really good at making all those different kinds of passes.
Yeah.
And we seem to be more effective when they get the short pass, whether it's screen pass or outlet pass or what.
So I really wonder how they're going to play this. And Mike, is that all you got?
Just Jalen Wright's got to get the ball more. I mean, isn't he our biggest deep threat?
Jalen Wright. Who's that?
Jaden Wright. I'm sorry, Jaden Floyd. Our speedy little receiver.
Jalen Lloyd. Yes.
Jalen Lloyd. There we go. Yeah, I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
See you, Mike.
Hey, getting Tommy Hill back could be big.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So I'm curious to see, and thank you for the call. Jaden Wright, Jalen Lloyd. Got it.
Just combined a few players.
So he said that about the West Coast offense, and getting Tommy is back is big too for them. But sounds like he was going to go against Rutgers, and he ran out onto the field and tweaked it. That's not fun.
No.
But I think the big point there at the end that really has me curious right now, and this is something we'll discuss with Sam. Like they have these 6 games under their belt. You know what you know about Raiola. You know what you know about your ability to run the ball and what your running backs are able to give you. Rhule has said, over and over and again now that he just feels like the running backs need to turn these 12-yard gains into 50-yard gains or whatever phrase he uses. But basically, they're leaving yards out there. So how do you find a way to not leave those yards out there? Do you put more on the shoulders of Dylan Raiola? And what does that mean for your offense? Like, how much do you value possessing the ball and specifically not turning the ball over, not screwing up, to potentially getting pretty explosive in the pass game? Because I think there is, and to answer my own question, I suppose it is not only situationally dependent, but it is also like game by game dependent. Who are you playing? What kind of team do you feel like you just need to sit on it and get out of there? But because I always bring up that play where he had and Rhule even brought it up today, right? The play where Raiola took the sack, but he had Barney, and it was, he could have thrown it. He should have thrown it. He probably would have thrown it like 100 out of the 100 times, but he just kept it and took a sack, and it wasn't that big of a deal because they're going to punt anyway. Was he going to get the first down? I don't know. It wasn't worth the risk of maybe putting the ball in harm's way, even though it probably wouldn't have been in harm's way. But you've seen it so far this year. They have really erred toward the side of, whether it's conservative is the word that you can use, but just like they are doing everything they can to not turn the ball over. They've thrown 3 picks. They've had 1 fumble. It's working in 6 games. Are you willing to give some of that up for some explosiveness? They haven't been in a game where they've been down by 14 points yet, or anything like that. They'll do some of that in there. And then I wonder, if you get into that situation, do you find that, we can do this? So I've talked about Nair and Banks over the last couple of weeks and how I just feel like they need more from those guys. And I think they do, but maybe you need to get them engaged a little bit, right? Like if they feel like they could have big impacts in the game. If Nebraska's down against Ohio State, do you just kind of cut them loose? If Nebraska's down against Indiana, do you cut the offense loose? Maybe Dylan Raiola throws a pick, but maybe you get pretty explosive on offense, and it's something you haven't necessarily shown. So in the final 6 games, when these games are a little bit closer and the competition's a little higher and you're not going to be able to dictate the way that you want to play like all the time, then where does Nebraska turn? That is a topic for the perfect man. Sam McKewon will join us on the other side on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter @Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys?
More of the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620. Oh, I forgot I put my camera up. But Josh, if you bring up the hey guys, I'm shrunk a little bit. I was standing up for the last segment. My apologies. Let's go back down here, and we are good. Every once in a while, Josh, you just need a segment where you're standing up.
Absolutely,
especially
totally.
now that we're wearing pants.
Yeah,
it's pants time, and just gotta.
That's actually a really good note.
Get up and walk around a little bit. Everyone needs it. All right, plenty of interesting tidbits today from Matt Rhule. Sam McKewon joins us right now via the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Sam, good afternoon. How are you?
Good, man. How are you? It's been a while.
It has been a while. Did you enjoy your Nebraska football this weekend?
Yeah, I did.
I did too.
I did enjoy it. I watched a little bit, did a little, outside yard work up until about, mostly like 2:30, and then took in the afternoon and evening football games. Those were really nice.
I think we were all on the same schedules. I did the exact same thing. Once I realized that the 11 a.m. games were, not great, especially after Iowa pulled away. I was like, all right, time to go outside. I got a window until 2:30.
Yeah, I caught like the end of Alabama, South Carolina, which was fun. Yep. But yeah, it was a great weekend. I enjoyed watching. Apparently, Matt Rhule watched a lot of college football too, and he saw
too much taunting
things. Too much taunting. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what game he's talking about. I do know that, I think he thought of that play in the Alabama game where the guy went and scored, and he shouldn't have scored. He just went down and took a knee, and the game would have been over. But he obviously didn't do that. So. Yeah, it was a fun weekend, and yeah, he thinks there's too much taunting in college football. There is a little bit of that. I don't know that I found maybe there wasn't that Colorado K-State game. That was a late one, and I do know that there was a lot of dancing and taunting in that particular game.
A lot.
Yeah.
That's probably the one he was referencing, if I had to guess. There was the Deion Sanders one. There was the the Deion Sanders celebration, the dance, a lot of guys with the swords, putting their swords away. A lot of that going on. And then of course the Shedeur watch. But Colorado is not going to play in a normal game for the rest of Deion Sanders' time at Colorado, it seems.
So did you know? So this is what somebody told me, Connor. I don't know if this is true or not, but I was told that the sword thing is actually a seatbelt.
Oh.
And they're locking them down or something. I was like, because I was talking to somebody, and there's, my daughter dates a high school football player, and I'm like, the whole put the sword away, and he's like, nah, that's like a seatbelt.
Huh. I had no. I did not know that.
I didn't either. I was like, it's a seatbelt, or it's because I'm like, that looks like a sword, but then I'm like, what did they do with the sword? Did they eviscerate the receiver?
Right.
So
yeah. You do have to ask yourself that, but it seems cooler than a seatbelt.
Yeah, the seatbelt feels like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You put them on lock or something.
Guys, I've done a quick Google.
That's more logical than I just put my sword away because I sorted you up. I don't know. Anyway,
it's a seatbelt. So,
that's what Josh has Googled this, and apparently it's a seatbelt.
It looked like everyone does it, and it looks like a sword in the sheath, and it didn't make any sense.
Does. But then you have these guys that were showing, in the Minnesota player
the guns,
flag for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you guys doing? Don't do that. Anyway.
Agreed. We may have gone a little overboard on a couple of these. The seatbelt. Okay.
So. Yeah, it's a seatbelt. I didn't know.
Have to watch that one. Before we get into Nebraska stuff, your global takeaways from Ohio State in Oregon. Obviously it was a close game and came down to a couple things here and there at the end. Do you feel like you learned something about either or both of those teams after Saturday night?
I thought Oregon rose to the moment and played, very well. Played probably its best game of the season by some margin and hit big plays. That was really important. Is they needed to find a way to chunk Ohio State, and they did. They hit a couple of big throws, and I'm sure Ohio State fans are very upset and angry and devastated the way Nebraska fans used to be when they lost by 1 point in the 90s, but I don't know that game affects a lot for Ohio State. I think they can go back to the drawing board and say, guys, there is no team in this country that's better than us, really. And if there is, that team's Texas, and we wouldn't face them until the end of the season anyway. So I don't think Ohio State has anything to really worry about.
Yeah.
I think they just have to go out and play, the best football they can, and they're going to have to play Penn State. I was struck by the Penn State USC game in some ways, in the sense that Penn State literally had to call everything they had in the kitchen sink to win. And it just speaks to, and I tip my cap to them for doing it. I think I appreciate that they understood that they had to go out there and do everything. It wasn't just going to be hey, let's just do the usual and we'll pull out a win. They had to do everything they had in their, in the bag. But, that's going to be tough for Penn State to go beat Ohio State and even to beat Wisconsin. Like, Penn State's going to have to work really, really hard to be undefeated. They look a little bit like Florida State last year, where they might pull it off. I don't think they're going to beat Ohio State. They might pull it off, but you can see all the strain they have to make to get there, which when you come to a playoff situation where you've got to win 3 or 4 games, that could be really hard for Penn State to do. And I didn't think Ohio State was doing anything out of the ordinary. They're just playing football, and they lost by 1 at number 3. So I think Ohio State actually comes out of the weekend looking a little better than Penn State, even though Penn State's higher in the ranking.
Right. Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald is with us. Okay, let's go to Nebraska. We were just having this conversation before we brought you on here. Because a caller called in and he asked he said something that sort of tripped something in my mind about just what we've seen in the first half of the season as it pertains to the offense, Dylan Raiola, all that stuff. What is different in the second half, Sam, about the way, if anything, about the way that they sort of play it with the quarterback from on a scale of conservative to aggressive? They've really succeeded in not turning the ball over so far this year. It's clear that was a goal. What happens in the final 6 games when the competition takes a step up?
Well, I think they obviously want to try to score more points when they can, and capitalize on opportunities. I don't know that a lot of the what has to change. Maybe the how a little bit. Can you just get a little better in a couple of areas? Again, Rhule said he went back and watched all the run plays, and he didn't feel like things looked that bad. They just need to break a few more long runs. I went back and watched, a number of the games, and I think Nebraska's offensive line is playing pretty well. I don't think it's playing that poorly, and the backs just got to make more guys miss. And I think the receivers, when Nebraska plays, man or whatever or faces man, those guys got to get open, and Dylan's got to deliver a couple passes just a little bit better. He could stand to improve his game just a little bit, not a ton, but a little. And that's probably where things are at right now, Connor. I don't know that there's a ton of changes to make based on what we've already seen. But then there's always that moment too, where now all of a sudden they go to Indiana, hostile atmosphere, got to play your best football.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to do it? This could be that game where they go and they're walking out of the park with a 31-27 win, and everybody feels really good about what they just saw on offense. It could also be a game where they're walking out of the park and it's 28-14, and people don't feel good about what they saw. So it's a litmus test game. It's a game that tells you how far they've come offensively in the last couple of weeks.
How does the defense stack up? Rhule, I thought, had an interesting, kind of point where, and I don't think he was referring directly to Indiana, although that's the way it sort of came off to me, where these spread offenses, what they're practicing against all week, and then all of a sudden you get punched a little bit, and it changes. I wonder, and I was talking about it on the other side of the ball for Nebraska, but defensively for Nebraska, this has been a position against these, higher, octane offenses where they've been able to hem them in a little bit in limited examples over the last 2 years. How do they feel? How do you feel like they stack up against Indiana, who really just, they have these 6 games to compare it to against subpar competition so far.
Yeah, well, they can throw the football. Indiana certainly can, and they've got good receivers. They'll run some tempo when they can. What you're going to watch is not uncommon in terms of they're going to throw inside screens. They're going to throw short crossing routes. They're going to throw deep stuff. They've got overs. I mean, they got the whole complement of offense here. They got a fifth year senior quarterback who's smart, and they got a coaching staff, including Kurt Cignetti, that's pretty advanced. So they're running a lot of advanced stuff in terms of throwing the football. It's not easy to stop. They have a better running game than Colorado. So, Colorado can do all those things too, but Colorado can't run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And, Indiana can. So, you've got to remember that. Curtis Rourke will run a little bit. He's got a little bit of mobility. They're crafty in some areas in the way they design their plays. So, they're going to be challenging for Nebraska. They're pretty balanced on offense. They can run the ball downhill. Their backs are decent. It's going to be a hard challenge. It's going to be, in my opinion, a harder challenge than Illinois. And I thought Illinois stressed Nebraska quite a bit. The difference here, Connor, is that Illinois was doing that with 2 tight ends and sort of, that triple option thing where it's, you're rolling out, you can do this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana's comfortable to stay in the pocket and run complex routes and try to force your secondary to cover them. And we'll see how Nebraska does.
Yeah. Is it pressure that Nebraska kind of dials up? I mean, we've seen a push and pull on that so far in the first 6 games of the year. I wonder how they might attack that on Saturday.
They can. I think you've got to be thoughtful about when you bring 6, because Indiana will have some answers for that, and they got some good receivers. I think you can pretty consistently bring 4 or 5 and feel like you're bringing enough to cover on the back end. So it could be a game where you see 5 guys coming quite a bit. Usually when you get into that 6 area, you feel really good about your coverage scheme against whatever they got on the field. So I think pressure at times is helpful. I think you'll also see them run again a ton of screens on first and second down. They are going to throw the ball to the edges of the field, and they've got a good blocking tight end, 44. I can't remember his name, but he's transferred from James Madison. He's an okay receiver, but he gets out and he can block. And they've got really nice players. Their perimeter blockers and receivers are really good too. So they know how to run their scheme, and Nebraska's going to have to tackle, and they're going to have to get off blocks and all that stuff. They run the whole gambit of spread passing offense. And if they get in rhythm, Nebraska's going to have a hard time. So you got to try to keep them off balance.
Yep. All right, Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. Sam, always great to talk to you, and enjoy your week. We'll talk to you soon.
We'll try. Take care. Bye.
Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. And another good rewind column today, as he does each Monday, omaha.com. Douglas asks if Sam McKewon is the Grim Reaper. Josh, put that graphic back up of Sam.
Oh, okay, sure.
I think that's what he's referring to. So let's go. So look like he is, he's death.
No, I don't
think so.
I think Douglas was talking about, because the comment before that, Douglas said this interview is ruining my week.
What are you talking about?
I think he wanted Sam to say something to the effect of, Indiana is bad, Nebraska will have no trouble.
I don't know what Doug is ever talking about, first of all, but
well, that's a good point.
Yep. They're not bad. Hey, let's just stop that game before we go too far down that road. Me like yelling at them for their crappy schedule and their boisterous, maybe mildly egotistical head coach.
Google me.
Over the last 6 weeks is not me saying that they're bad. It's just that we, in college football fans, media, college football media, we love stuff like this. We love when stuff like this happens. We love when Kansas gets good. We love when Indiana gets good. We love when Wake Forest gets good. We All of these things have happened in the last 5 years.
The
and
Army.
We loved all of them, Josh. We just ate those stories up. And we will use any excuse or any possible route for that to be a national narrative. They're 6-0. They haven't beat anybody. They're not tested by anybody to this point. Really.
They've scored 80 points in the fourth
80 points in the fourth quarter. 80 points in the fourth quarter. Like, that doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means it's more from they're number 16. They went up 2 spots in the rankings without playing, Josh.
Got to juice those TV numbers.
Right. I'm just saying, like, we, not me, but we, the national royal we, want this to happen. Because we love stories like this. I don't know why. Josh, you love a changing the guard. You'll have to explain this to me. I don't know why we long for these things to happen so often.
I like when a traditional power gets torn down by a young up-and-comer.
Okay. So that's different than what the Indiana story is.
Yeah. They're just
I'm already sick of them.
Rising from the ashes like a phoenix.
I'm sick of everybody talking about them all the time. I mean, maybe, come back to me when they've beaten somebody. Maybe after the Nebraska game, they will have beaten somebody.
Do it against Georgia.
Yeah, play Georgia. So, by the way, on the AP poll, Indiana went up 2 spots in the rankings without playing anybody. Kansas State right behind them. They just beat Colorado, who I think is okay.
Yeah, Colorado's fine.
Yeah, I think that's a fine. They're going to be in a whole bunch of whack job games for the rest of their lives, but yeah, they go up in the poll just one spot in the rankings. Indiana went up twice without playing. Do we want this to happen, Josh? Maybe a little bit.
Oh, do we, the media, want Indiana? Yeah,
no doubt.
Because we loved the Dukes. We loved James Madison. It was fun.
Michael Severe pointed out something earlier. Did you see the Michael tweet?
Hi, Michael Severe. Michael does many tweets.
Michael does do many tweets.
And we appreciate most of them.
Last year, James Madison was undefeated. A national college pregame show came to town when they played Appalachian State.
Oh, no.
Guess what happened that day? The Dukes lost.
The Dukes
dropped
a deuce.
They lost in overtime. Couldn't hold up to the pressure of having a big pregame show come to your place.
What about a medium-sized pregame show?
Interesting. Well, it's one of the big ones. It's not the big one, but it's one of the big ones.
Sure.
We still prefer the other one, for the record. I was dabbling with this for a second in time. I was thinking, wait a minute, is Big Noon Kickoff better than College Game Day? It's definitely not.
Definitely not.
No. College Game Day is good again, as we discussed earlier. All right. We'll come back. Still a couple things we have to discuss on the show, including a Super Bowl in not America.
But the Super Bowl is the most American thing we have, Connor.
Did you watch the London game? Well, when Roger Goodell goes to London, he tells a lot of lies to the London fans.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Welcome back. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you in the Connor Happer Show. 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. I feel like we've been we've been covering a lot of ground today. The press conference happened at a weird time, then flipped that out of order. Nebraska didn't have a game, so we're not freaking out about that. We're just freaking out about other people playing games. So we've got a couple things kind of left over to talk about here, Josh. I'm excited about it. 2 stories for you. Number 1, the NFL played a game in London. The Bears are back.
Yep.
Right?
No problems at all. Everything's fixed.
Caleb Williams does definitely look a lot better recently.
A lot of people look good against the Jaguars.
That's true, but this is a trend now, Josh.
Sure.
All right, let's give Caleb a little credit.
It appears as though he is getting his feet underneath him.
So the NFL took their operation to London, just as they did last week, and just as they will do this coming week. I believe we have Patriots,
Jaguars,
Jags. Okay. So they just stay there.
Yeah.
Very fun for them.
Sure.
They'll be there. And Roger Goodell, every time the NFL goes there, we'll get in front of the London media and he'll ask some questions. They'll ask some questions to him and they'll ask him, Raj, would you like to play a Super Bowl in London? How about the Super Bowl? Have you seen all these fans? How about a Super Bowl? Goodell says this. Goodell, who has shot down this idea in the past, said at a fan forum in London.
That is actually important here.
Quote, we've always traditionally tried to play a Super Bowl in an NFL city. That was always sort of a reward for the cities that have NFL franchises. He said in response to a question about moving the neutral site game internationally, quote, but things change. It wouldn't surprise me at all if that happens one day.
Okay, Raj.
Yeah, he's such a liar. The Super Bowl's not going to London. It would definitely surprise me if that happened one day. That would be the stupidest thing ever.
This is like when WWE comes to town and at the end of the night after the cameras go off the air. Oh my God.
We're going to have
What a great crowd.
WrestleMania here.
I think WrestleMania should be here. What do you guys think? Yeah.
Totally. It's exactly that.
Can't get in the car quick enough after the show.
Yeah. They're not going to play a Super Bowl in London, guys. But they could play many other Jags games in other countries. He added that he has, quote, no doubt that Ireland will host a game soon.
Okay. I mean, they host so much college football that, yeah, okay.
Also, Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, that seems like a thing they want to keep for some reason. That seemed like a terrible time for all parties.
Yeah. The Super Bowl will be in New Orleans this year. Back to Santa Clara next. Then back to L.A. In 2027. But, guys, not going to London. Sorry. Sorry to break that news to you.
You heard it here first.
Also, so back to college football. Over the weekend, Georgia was playing Mississippi State at home. Game that nobody really cared about, right?
That's right, yeah.
Georgia took care of business. But before the game, as the fans were filing in between the hedges, the fans, the PA announcer came over the intercom and he said, all right, time to boo. Boo as if Mississippi State was going to come out on the field. And then what came out of the tunnel? It was none other than new superstar Glenn Powell, dressed in a football uniform with a team behind him. So they're making a Chad Powers TV show. Chad Powers, the character that Eli Manning made up and dressed up as one time at a Penn State walk-on practice.
For a viral video? Like not even for...
Correct.
It wasn't even for a commercial, right?
So they're making a Chad Powers TV show starring Glenn Powell. Steve Zahn is going to be in this show.
Saving Silverman.
Michael Waldron. Is that a name that I should know?
I don't think so.
Nope. And the premise is this. When bad behavior nukes hotshot Russ Holiday's college career, he disguises himself and walks onto a struggling Southern football team as the talented, affable Chad Powers. And so they filmed a scene at the Georgia game on Saturday where they run out of the tunnel, and there's Glenn Powell in a Chad Powers uniform as they get booed coming out into the Georgia game. My question is this, Josh. How annoying would this be if you were like, Georgia, Mississippi State?
Yeah.
Seems like this is just a huge pain in the butt.
Hey.
Why does Hollywood get to do all these? They literally had to change the college football game just to be able to accommodate this stupid TV show that nobody's going to watch.
Hey, we just need a stadium full of people. Can you be that stadium for us? Well, yeah, we'd love to be affiliated with any successful television project. This ain't a successful television project.
Yeah, but are you going to pay me money? That's the next question.
Yeah.
And the answer is yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Of course. Well, venue rental.
Yeah. Once this television show becomes a success, we'll give you money. That's a risk I guess they were willing to take. Stupid. I didn't like it.
Imagine being a TV executive and when you got 12 projects put in front of you every single day, you take the one that was.
Let's do the Chad Powers one.
Let's do the viral video instead of like a good script.
Yeah, but it has Glenn Powell.
That is true. I can't.
How many things is this guy going to be in?
All of them. All of the things.
I don't know what's going on in the film industry, Josh, but Glenn Powell's in every movie now.
Rough
and
out.
now he's in every TV show. It's very odd to me.
Good luck, other actors.
Also, an update for you from Stillwater. Mike Gundy's scheduled to have his Monday press conference today.
Oh, yeah. I was going to bring this up and forgot, so thank you.
So he will still have his press conference today, but it'll be on Zoom. Why? Gundy claims that he took a headbutt from a cow and he gets a little dizzy. So he can't do the press conference in person. He's fine. He'll just do the press conference on Zoom. Now, I guess I have some issues with this or some questions. If you just don't do the press conference,
Yeah, that would be.
If you got headbutted by a cow, you can just sit that one out. Maybe he didn't want to start a stir. It's like, is he going to miss this game this weekend? I'm not really sure. But still did the press conference. Nice job by him, but he just did it on Zoom. Got headbutted by a cow. Thoughts? Headbutted by a cow. Once again,
like being
college football head coach headbutted by a cow.
Seems like staring at a computer screen is probably not the best if you're feeling dizzy after being hit in the head, but what do I know?
Yeah, but they put all those lights on you at the press conference.
I would like to play some blind audio from Mike Gundy himself.
Oh, is he going to say it?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I had a little run-in with my cattle.
This audio is in mono. I don't know who's hearing it and who's not.
Somebody's not hearing this. I can hear it in one of my ears.
For the weekend, and I guess they've been watching us play and got headbutted. So I've got a bad eye that I didn't think would be particularly enjoyable for people when they were looking at my pretty face in a live interview. But more importantly, it's full of blood, and I get dizzy, and so it's not easy to be upright and be in a normal function. But other than that, I'm doing great.
Thanks, Mike.
Now there was no video. It was just the audio.
So just to recap, he has a bloody eye. For the people who didn't hear this, he had a bloody eye. He gets a little dizzy. He didn't want people to see his bloody eye, his bloodshot eye, and therefore he just did an audio press conference today. He basically did a teleconference.
Yeah.
Remember teleconferences?
They were huge back in the day.
People were joining the Big Ten teleconference. I was joining the Big Ten teleconference at one point. I would tune in. They'd ask Mike Riley or Bo Pelini one question, then it'd be over. The streamers didn't hear that.
Okay. Well, we just got that thing back up and running today, so
yeah. Just be grateful, okay?
Yeah. That thing wasn't working at all 3 hours ago.
All right. We'll come back. We got the polls. We'll tell you what to watch on the other side. On the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. yeah, we got one more opinion over the weekend that was shared with us on at Happer Show. Because I know we're light on poll questions today, so let's just get to this real quick.
Yeah.
Travis says, I have an unpopular opinion.
Ooh, we take those as well.
It's actually even better. I'd like to discuss this. Going back to that Iowa-Washington game. It's like the fourth time we've talked about this game today.
Talked about that like more than the Oregon
Maybe.
Ohio State game.
Yeah. The Iowa Wave. Travis is sick of hearing about the Iowa Wave and it being gushed over as the greatest tradition. Every single week there's an Iowa home game. It's so great for the kids. I love that they're there. I love that for them. But come on, we all get it and know about it. Now, I've thought about this a couple times and I'm like, okay, cool, you're doing the Wave. Like, all right, it's great. But I got to tell you, when you watch it live, it's pretty stirring every time. It's so great every time. So I once again disagree with the opinion that came in on our Twitter over the weekend.
Yeah.
Because I've had thoughts of this before. I've thought, okay, all right, enough. I've heard it. It's great, but I've heard it too much. It is awesome. How organic that was and how it blew up a few years ago. It's awesome. It's an incredible tradition. I had tears in my eyes. Like I had my eyes welled on Saturday when I was watching this because what I saw was the people inside of the hospital waving back.
Yeah.
And the emotion of the parents with the kids in the hospital up there. So good. So good. So good.
Imagine speaking ill of the Iowa hospital wave.
It's not
couldn't
like,
be us.
I know what Travis is saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
He says it's great. It's a great tradition. We love it, but it's
we
just,
know about
why do we have to talk about it all the time? Because it actually is awesome.
Yeah. It deserves
That's my
recognition.
answer. It's actually awesome. So, two takes that came into the Twitter over the weekend. Disagree with both.
Do better, audience.
No.
Oh.
What? Hokey Skur says I'm radiating sarcasm. I'm dead serious.
Just his tone, ladies and gentlemen.
Do I sound sarcastic all the time?
I would say more times than not.
I might have to adjust that. I want
no, I can tell you're being serious.
I can have a serious channel to me. You know, it's like I'm a network. And there's one channel that is, it's TBS, very funny. But then there's another channel. It's like we have HBO Max.
Ooh.
Where there's some
The Sopranos.
serious prestige TV on there. Right? So the show definitely has some sarcasm to it. But that was serious. That was serious. Also, we didn't talk about the KenPom ratings today that much. Very much to Josh's chagrin.
Connor, just didn't have time for it. We'll get to that KenPom thing.
KenPom says Creighton is going to go 22-9, 14-6 in the league. By the way,
that's decent.
That's every year. Just pencil them in for exactly that every year. In fact, over the last, let's see, 5 regular seasons. So Nebraska or Creighton 23-8 in the regular season last year, 20-11 in the regular season 2 years ago, 20-10 in the regular season 3 years ago, 18-7 4 years ago, 24-7 5 years ago, and 18-13 6 years ago. Basically, lock them in for 20 wins, lock them in for a top 25, lock them in for like at least a 6th seed in the NCAA tournament, and then we'll go from there. It's a good place to be.
They've upped that non-con schedule the last few years, so it doesn't always equate to regular season wins, but it gets them March ready.
KenPom says Nebraska 16-13, 9-11 in the conference.
Is that going to do it?
I don't think so. That would not do it.
I don't think so.
That would not get you to the NCAA tournament. So we'll see. See who's right, see who's wrong. To the polls, Josh at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Just one poll today. Do all the kids watch anime now?
We got to help Matt Rhule here on this one.
And they are buckling their seatbelts.
Yeah.
Not sheathing their swords.
God, I feel like an idiot.
That was quite the revelation. That might be our revelation of the day, Josh.
Yes, I believe we're supposed to have one of those now. Someone in here, maybe it was Hokey Skur. Oh no, it was Alex. Excuse me. Seatbelt because the DB is strapped to the receiver.
Totally. Like I get it. It
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
And to be honest with you, the sword thing didn't make a lot of sense.
Not at all. Like, oh, he's defending.
So there was no
with a
reason
sword.
there was no reason for me to think that other than I just thought a sword seemed cooler.
Yeah.
I never thought about a seatbelt as a celebration.
I didn't know the kids wore seatbelts anymore.
They're doing all kinds of dances, TikTok dances, and did you see Quinn Ewers, your boy Josh? Quinn Ewers did the he did the Costco guys dance.
Oh, did he?
They do this stupid bit where they like go in front of the camera and they like step. I can't explain it to you, but he did that.
That game got to 21-3, and I said, okay, no more.
Unnecessary.
No more.
55% of the voters says yes, all the kids do is watch anime.
I believe this show told you Texas would win in a rout, and you all laughed at us.
I don't think that they laughed at
I
us,
think they
Josh.
did, Connor.
Those are the polls. What are we watching tonight?
We're going to watch baseball. Game 2 of the NLDS, Mets and Dodgers. Dodgers lead 1-0. Starts at 3 o'clock on Fox or FS1, whichever you prefer. It will be the same telecast. And then Guards, Yankees, game 1 of the ALCS, 6:30 tonight on TBS, True TV, or Max, whichever you prefer. Monday Night Football is in the exact same stadium where Sunday Night Football was last night.
Love football.
The Jets host the Bills, 7 o'clock on ESPN, ABC, and ESPN2. People forget the New York Jets will have a new coach during
That's right.
this game.
Are you going with the classic new coach bump?
Normally I would, but no, not here.
What if I added in a little concussed Josh Allen?
That is true. I don't see it. I think that's a house of cards that's ready to fall over. Manning cast guests are Belichick, Will Arnett, and Rex Ryan.
Will Arnett.
Yes.
Nice.
NHL.
Job,
that's right.
Joe Bluth. Look, there's Jason Bateman. He's wearing a plain shirt. There's Rob Lowe. He's wearing a plain shirt. There's Jimmy Kimmel. He's wearing a plain shirt.
And a hat that says Johnny's Pastrami.
There's Brad Pitt. He's wearing a plain
my
shirt.
gosh.
LeBron James, plain shirt.
Why was Brad Pitt wearing a Kangol hat like it was 1994?
I don't know. Put on a shirt that says Dodgers on it, okay? They should give them the shirts that say Dodgers on it when they walk into the ballpark.
They make fashionable shirts. It doesn't have to be like, like the $20 really rough cotton t-shirt.
Crazy.
3 games going on right now in the NHL. 3 more going on tonight. They're out there. You can look them up. Family Guy has a Halloween special on Hulu because they are nothing like The Simpsons. In Peter Pumpkin Eater, Peter and his friends try to unseat the reigning champion in Quahog's pumpkin contest.
Oh.
That reigning champion, Connor, is voiced by
Rob Lowe.
Glenn Powell.
He's in everything.
And Old People Rejoice. NCIS is back on CBS for season 22.
Hey, when's Chicago night?
Don't know.
Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, Chicago PD. It's all Chicago.
It's midweek on NBC, but tonight on CBS at 7, it is the season 22 premiere of NCIS, followed by the series premiere at 8 o'clock of the new NCIS spinoff, Origins. A young Leroy Jethro Gibbs starts his career as a newly minted special agent at the NIS Camp Pendleton office. Son of a Heisman Trophy winner, Mark Harmon narrates.
Josh, thanks.
Thank you, Connor.
It all sounds very intriguing, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot to watch.
That's the show. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.